What up? What up? What's going on, y'all? Welcome to the live. I'm chilling today, man. It's Saturday. But we can still talk. We could talk about some things. I'm chilling. I switched up the questions a little bit. African superstar, see you, sister. What's going on, queen? Much love to everybody out there tuning in. Coffee was good, brother. Today we talking about unity. Put my white face on camera. So she cleaning up and doing stuff. It's Saturday, man. We chilling. Yes, we're doing very well, sister. Doing very well. Dr. Robert, what's going on? Reactivated the account. Okay, I see you, Black Librarian. I gotta come up with an easier way to get my lives to export to YouTube. The files are so big. I'll be up here for like 3-4 hours. It's kind of a hassle to get it. But keep tapping like, y'all. Keep tapping like. When we get to 2K, I'm going to let people in here. I'm going to let people come on up and talk to us. See some people on the guest list. Just hold on for a moment. Yes, we're going to talk about, is it racist to only date your race? Agenda wars, anti-black. Black and white cultures fully coexist. Don't let that gender wars question stump some of y'all. I know a lot of y'all on here, especially y'all that go live. A lot of y'all's on the front lines of the gender wars. Y'all on the front. Y'all got battle scars. My goodness. Secondhand trauma is real, y'all. Don't get mad about stuff that you ain't go through that you heard someone else went through on live, and y'all got secondhand trauma. Some of us, we need a safe space, but some of us come to TikTok for therapy sessions. And, you know what I'm saying? Some people come to TikTok, they start venting about what they going through and how the other gender has done them wrong. And then we internalize it and start looking at each other sideways. That's a problem. You know what I'm saying? Yes, keep tapping like. Let's get to 2K. You know what I'm saying? Don't internalize what you hear on TikTok. TikTok is not your therapist, and neither am I. You know what I'm saying? Some of them gender wars, some of y'all need therapy. Y'all come on TikTok, talk about brothers and sisters when you really need to talk to your therapist. Talk to your pastor or something. I don't know. Y'all need to talk to somebody. Come up here talking about us. I cannot generalize anything about black women. I can't generalize nothing about them. They are not a monolith. And anything that they do, anything that a black woman does, I cannot hold black women accountable for. I'm sorry, my wife's kind of loud, but I cannot hold black women accountable for the actions of an individual. And likewise with some of the brothers, I know that black men do struggle. Oh my goodness, do they struggle with patriarchy? But we need to understand that is not a system that benefits them. So when we hold people responsible for it, it's not the same thing as blaming them for it. Gotta speak with nuance, y'all. Some of y'all got battle scars from the gender wars. Some of y'all got stripes. All right, I'm gonna let. Yes, sir. I'm gonna keep teaching unity. I'm gonna keep teaching love. I'm a black love supremacist. That's what we gonna do over here. Prince Coffee, you like a co-host. I'm gonna let Ray first, my brother, and then I'm gonna let you go. Okay.
Most definitely, brother.
All right. All right.
Greeting to everybody.
All right. Appreciate you. Red, could you go ahead? Age, race, and pronouns, please.
Name's Jason, 21, male, YT. and
All
then
right.
he, him for pronouns.
Okay. Thank you, Red and or Jason. And could you answer the questions for us, top to bottom, please? Get us started.
Uh, so when we're talking about is a racist only date your race, I necessarily don't believe that because when we're talking about psychological look on these, my fault, bro. Ugh. I believe it's just preference. Now, depending on inheritable situations, because I do believe you can be quote unquote racist due to inheriting it, growing up in that lifestyle, so on and so forth. So I believe it is also psychological because we have to remember when we're talking race, we are just talking social construct. And then,
Okay. So, what is a preference that someone like yourself could have for thin-lipped women?
well, for my example of preference, I guess I would say I like Hispanic women.
Oh, well,
That would
that's
be
outside
one
your race.
preference.
I said dating only your race. So only
Oh,
dating.
only race. See, uh, like I said, I'm not the most educated on these topics,
Hmm.
but I would just simply consider it preference. But there is a fine line.
Because for me, a preference would be like, hey, I'm from Texas. I like someone from Texas because we got a lot in common. Or I like
Yeah,
someone that likes books. When I say I like someone, well, not me, but if I were of European descent and I said I only want to date white people, that's a social construct, like you said. So, that's not the same thing as a preference. That's actually me picking my favorite flavor of an oppressive system.
yeah, because culture and race is two completely different things.
Right.
Culture is not necessarily social construction because that is a way of lifestyle.
Hmm.
So I can understand and I agree with that. And then, like I said, when it comes to race, me personally, I don't know who here in America had the word to be able to kind of categorize us within color,
Oh, we
because
know.
color. Well, I'm
I
not
know.
gonna. Well, yeah, I know too, which is sad because it's not even. It's all bias. It's all
Um,
opinion. So that's why, like me personally, if we were categorizing, I believe scientific reasoning behind melanin, because there are different types of melanin where that's why we're colored or not colored and so on and so forth.
who's see, colored is also a trigger word for me because it's kind of like Gentile. It's like you know, it's interesting. When you use the word colored, it centers a person's identity around their proximity to whiteness. So,
Yeah.
because who are the not colored people? But
And yeah, no, I 100% agree with that. And that's why sometimes I get confused when I'm getting to some of these lives, and it almost seems like they're trying to. I don't know how to explain it, because like the last live I was on, they
hmm
didn't want to even agree within like the social construct that I was trying to say, which is
hmm
it's proven. That's proven. There's just it's not even just word. There's statistics. You know what I mean?
hmm
So so that's why when I'm saying like race, I think can there's better ways to identify race, quote unquote. I wouldn't say that's racist, but maybe it's just hard-headed thinking, maybe
Well, what is the reason that race exists? Why
for
is
that
it
social aspect.
not outside of capitalism and capitalistic gain? What is the reason that race is a useful construct? Like, what does it speak to in the people that created it? Like, what if money stopped, if everything was free right now, you didn't have to pay for nothing else. Do you think old Jimmy John or Billy Bob would stop being racist?
No.
So it's not. So aside from capitalism and other oppressive systems, what is the reason race exists?
Well, me personally, this also is it okay if I ask you how old you are by any chance?
I'm in my early 30s.
Cause I'm 21, so I'm still very young.
Okay.
So I also that's why when I'm saying it all leads back to like that psychological abuse is because you might have been you're raised in that different time era other than what I'm raised in. So luckily I'm raised in the time era where I'm able to find these articles and all this information, unlike some maybe older people where it was all true belief. So that's why I always try to make sure everyone understands there is that fine line. Because that's why, like I said, that's why we're able to have these discussions.
Okay. Racism still exists for the same reason, and I would
Yeah,
say
no,
you have more
I
access
know
to
that, and it's
misinformation.
sad to say.
You have more access to misinformation as well.
Yeah,
But
I don't know. That's why I be trying to be careful when it comes to research.
well, go ahead. Keep answering the questions. Let me get to the next guest too. Go ahead.
True.
Or is that the only question you wanted to talk about?
I'm not gonna lie. The one I really wanted to talk about was can black and white cultures fully coexist?
Okay.
So, I'm the only reason I want to answer this one is because I love the fact that we're not bringing race, but simply culture.
Yeah.
So, I believe if we don't look at the social aspect very hard, I do believe there is a chance that cultures can coexist, but that race look on things kind of can get people, you know, misunderstood, hard headed due to what they've learned, experienced, or any personal, personal relation.
Do you believe I can jump to the moon?
No,
Why do you believe why don't you believe it? Have you ever seen someone
because,
jump to the moon before?
well, no, because of simple scientific understandings.
In theory, though, if I could jump high enough, I couldn't jump to the moon.
If we're saying in theory, if you can jump high enough, hey, you can make that.
All right. So if I told you I could jump to the moon, would you believe me?
Me personally, no.
And I'm assuming the reason you wouldn't believe me is because you've never seen someone jump to the moon, correct?
Exactly.
So when has there ever been a culture that has coexisted peacefully with white culture?
From what I've learned growing up, sadly there hasn't been many cases where we did coexist.
I mean, there has been times when there's been cultures that could peacefully coexist with white people, and they had their cultures. That a lot of people, like Irish culture, for example, people tie that to white people, but there are Black Irish people too. So, once again, culture is not always mutually exclusive of race or tied to it. But you know, when we say that, yes, the two cultures could coexist, it's equivalent to saying theoretically someone could jump to the moon if they could jump high enough. But,
Yeah.
in real life,
Well,
it hasn't happened.
yeah, that's why I wanted to say. That's why I said if we were talking theoretically, yeah,
hmm
there's a chance of it. But
I
then
would
I
say,
also would like the scientific reasoning behind it. That's kind of my look
mhm.
on it.
I would say white and black cultures can coexist when there's no such thing as, well, really white culture, but I mean, we could also say white and black cultures. When we're 2,000 years from now, and race is something that we talk about only in history books, and if I call someone white, they're like, what do you mean, my clothes? Like, what are you talking about? I don't know what that is. Then maybe, uh, except it wouldn't be white and black culture anymore. So, you know, still it wouldn't be coexisting.
Okay, I see. I can see that. I see that. Cause yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I
You
just
know,
when it comes to, cause
but
I agree very much that everyone has their set. Not well, yeah, it kind of is a set culture, cause that's what you were raised in. But when it comes to race, you have Africans that are white, you have Asians that are black. That's why I kind of don't understand why it's been.
I would say you have Europeans living in Africa. I wouldn't say you have Africans that are white, but I hear what you're saying. I get what you mean. I just African. That's like saying you know that's like saying I don't know. I'm trying to think of like an opposite way to say that. Like if you move from London, if you're born in London and you move to Japan, that you're now Asian.
Uh,
Or
uh,
your kids are now Asian.
I want to say it's culture not appreciation. My fault. I
Appropriation.
can't even think of the appropriation. I think that's what that is. I might be wrong though.
Your continental identity comes from your genealogy and your ancestors, like where they're from, going back thousands of years. So there are Europeans on the African continent. However, their continental identity is not African because 1,000 years ago they wouldn't have been there. They're only
Yeah.
there because of colonization.
Well, yeah. That's like if I went out of the states, they could say the same thing about me being a white male in America, and then I go out somewhere else where culture is very set, very. I don't want to say strict because that it's not necessarily strict, but yeah. So I can. That's understandable.
Hmm. All right. Well,
And
thank you for your answers, Red. Oh, you want to say something now?
oh no, that's cool, bro. I was gonna say
All right.
I'm probably gonna have to hop off here soon.
All right, man. Have a good one.
Yes, sir. You
Um,
guys too.
yes, sir. Uh, Jai Primo, could I have your age, race, and pronouns, please?
Yeah. How you doing?
What's going on?
Hello.
Could I have your age, race, and pronouns, please?
The, I didn't hear you.
Your age, your race, and your pronouns, please.
Well, in demographic, I guess it would be in demographic it would be black, and I'm certainly heterosexual. So he and my age, I'm 2,000 years old
You about the oldest man I ever met.
by history. But on the one with the dating, when we acknowledge the demographic of race and make family with it or interdependent relationship, it's not racist. I think it moves into a value. And the concept of it being value, the biological perspective would be to build a culture, of interdependent relationships. So I don't even argue with that one or let anybody bring that, because if that's one's preference, it would be, if it's culture awareness, it's healthy. If it's culture appropriation, what you were just discussing with the young man, where there's exploitation, then it would be a problem. But if you're not exploiting the interdependent wife or woman or relationship with your children, then it's not a problem to even be considered in that demographic classification. On that first one, are gender wars anti? Um, no, I think matriarch and patriarch, we have it backwards by biological construct. Um, One of the things I learned about social constructs, like putting a person where that superiority thing come from, we didn't discounted the equality of women and the superiority of women with the conception and reproduction system. So the patriarch society really do a disfiguration to gender and race more, from the European values than any place, because I think part of the reason you and I are worried about a demographic is simply because when we were in a land and was not free, considered property, they had to code and classify people coming back to their regular identity. They were no longer called Bantu, no longer called African descendants. And so therefore they exploited the globe with all these different terms, and then they keep us without a nationality. And that's the scary part to me
Who
right now.
called them Bantu?
Well, I'm just saying, if you use the language in translation, it ain't a definite point of it. But I mean, it would be the point.
There
Here's the
is.
point. But here's the
Bantu
point. The
come from the
argumentative.
same people that call us black.
Say that again.
Bantu come from the same people that called us black.
What I just said in translation and translation. But the point of the existence of the people, it didn't take a European to bring us into existence. So I said where there's exploitation, that's where the problem of the construct of demographics happen. If you remember on this continent, when about the time when they were doing Aesop fables, and the Bible was being constructed as nonfiction literature translated into this English Germanic world. Remember, it still was constructed as a truth, and then people are trying to exploit its origin, like if it did not come from Hebrew translation or Greek scrolls or Asian scrolls. And I think that's the deliberate facet of mindset where we lose, because when you talk about coexistence, cultures can coexist, but race is not a culture, and race does not influence culture. Culture influence race, and so therefore that's why you see a lot of minority races stated as minority races, because it influenced the European descendants to come and exploit and culture appropriate, and not only that, put people into bondage what was already stated biblically or in historical civilization literature. So the coexistence of it can, but then remember, it becomes a value of nationality. When the Olympics happen in 2024, every athlete there will not be talking about their athletic prowessness based on their demographic. They'll be talking about their athletic prowessness based on nationalism, being American, being French, the country, so that and ethnicity will then come in. And what happened is the demographic law has disconceded the intellectual like yourself. I don't have to worry about this program because you have a great stamina about intellectual, and you guide people in not what you're trying to see, but what are we understanding based on what you principle. And that's a awareness, cultural awareness, because that translation problems in the case point. Quit looking at who saying they originate, and look at what language is translated in. And a lot of the hostility that exists, we wouldn't even worry about coexisting with other cultures, because we would want to know our own culture. And the reason racism happens, I don't think people have an identity of their own, and they don't know their own identity. So then they lash out on somebody to be lesser, or them putting themselves as superior. And biologically, that's not so. There is a genetic, scientifically, biologically, there is connotations of superiority. Skin pigmentation is purpose. Skin pigmentation
All
is
right.
purpose.
All right. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. You dance around so much. I can't
I
call it one
agree.
way or
It's
the
a
other.
virtual word salad there. Good
Yeah.
evening, my friends. It's Uncle Rory checking in from Shropshire. And for the Americans who are wondering where Shropshire is,
Hold on a second.
it's
Sweet
in
uncle,
England,
hold on a
Great
second.
Britain, just south of
Hold
Wales.
on, hold on, hold on,
Hold
hold on,
Yeah.
hold
on,
on.
sweet uncle. We usually go in order up here. Just a moment. So I'm gonna let him finish his plane, and then we'll keep going. Um,
Okay, let's just go A, B, C, D. So A would be the basis. So it's clear when we get into discussion about it. A would be the basis. It would become a value in the demographic of one identifying their race and making an interdependent relationship with it that might grow to other interdependent relationships. So it's not a racial concern or a racist concern if they drawn it as a value. For the second one, the war gender is a patriarch matriarch thing, and we we'd established the real reality that all men come from women, and therefore our mothers have a an activity where we either were rewarded or we became resentful, and we have attacked gender because we have no superiority class over them as males. No matter what we do in our life, conceptively, or reproducing or building, we cannot surpass the woman's superiority in the biological perspective.
Okay,
Physically,
I
yes.
think you don't know what the gender wars are.
That's kind of nonsense, my friend. I
Well,
Wait,
attended
wait,
Johns
wait.
hold on,
Hold
Hopkins
on.
sir. Hold on.
University.
Hold on.
Sweet
I'm
uncle, don't
talking
be that
from
white
my
person
I'm
that
talking
can't
from
mute.
my awareness.
Please, don't be that person. Please, just give us a
Right.
moment.
So when you talk about coexistence, then that's where nationality and ethnicity takes over, where race, where you say BLK or YT, where it becomes insignificant what the culture might be, because European cultures has no greater sustainability than African culture or Asian culture. People culture appropriate. They rather establish someone else's culture and sell it than to traditionally go with their
Wait,
own for
hold
a
on.
high
Jay,
intellectual
I don't know
and
if
health.
you've got I don't know, I don't know. I honestly don't know what you're talking about. You keep going way too off topic, but I think you don't know what gender wars are. I'm not talking about man versus woman in general, like in life. I mean, the gender
No,
wars
no,
is
no, no. I know what we're talking about, the community base. When people want to get into orientation, it's not directed just toward the black male. If we were the first origin of humanity, we can take that like everything was coming at us. I don't look at it from that perspective, sir. I didn't say it didn't, racism doesn't exist or anything. I didn't say that people don't attack the heterosexual black male, but I don't see it in a constructive even concern socially, because ceremonially I put myself past that. I don't have trouble with my orientation or
I'm not
inside
talking
of
about
a
your I'm
new
not talking about
identity.
your sexual orientation. I'm not like that's what I'm trying to say. It's like I'm asking you, is grass green? And you're like, well, green is a social construct. Towels are green, and green towels are used to dry floors, and you're
No,
just
but
going off the
no,
top.
in Kentucky it's bluegrass.
Exactly, that's what you're doing. So I'm gonna just
Right.
move on, man. Thanks for coming up. I don't know what he was talking about. Livia,
He was
what's
going
going
nowhere
on?
fast. He was going on a dead end, my friend. He was like a ship without a
Uh,
mast.
But talking, sweet uncle. It's not your turn.
yeah, nah, he gone because he can't mute. Livia, could you give us your age, race, and pronouns?
Hey everybody, thank you to the host for allowing me up. My name is Livia. I'm 37. I go by she, her. And in case no one told those who are and claim to be black, it's a great day to be black.
It sure is, ain't it? Shout out to everybody that know it's a great day to be black, man. Every day
Yeah,
is a
better
great
know
day to be black. I've heard that. Hold on, let me. I love that. Thank you, sister. Go ahead.
you are more than welcome. Absolutely. Um, I'm just going to try and stick to the topic. I'm going to do my best not to address what other people have already said on the panel. Um, Let's start with number one. Is it racist to only date your race? Okay, so I can't not go off of what other people said on the panel. I'm sorry, because it was already mentioned that preference, right? So if it's someone's preference to date within their own race, absolutely not. As it's the same way as if it is someone's preference to date outside the race, you don't want to be mocked for that, right? So why is it that my preference of dating those who are similar and look like and have, share the same cultural ethnic backgrounds as myself, that is considered to be a racist thing simply because it more coincides with the ideals and the ideologies of what I know. And I just, so no, I would not say that to date my race, to date within your own race is a racist thing, and to only date within your own race is a racist thing. Um, I would even call it xenophobic. It's just, especially in regards to the Black culture, I would say mainly because we actually have just cause to maybe not want to venture. Um, I mean, we do. Like, historically speaking, Black people, especially here in the United States, the Corporation of America, we have very much just cause to maybe steer clear of those who have historically, ancestrally, done many things to the Black culture for us to stay away. I'll leave that one alone. Are
Mm-hmm.
gender wars anti-black? I would absolutely say yes. I would say because it's funny and it's interesting. I think it was a video that I saw you do, and I do edit it, and I haven't. I'm sorry, I stitched it, and I have yet to put it up. But there was this one young YT woman who thought it was very cute to come on here and talk about how black men are degrading the black woman. Oh, first of all, before I continue, dear black men, I love you. In case y'all haven't heard it today.
Shout out to black men. We love y'all too, man. I hope somebody told y'all that today. You know.
Period.
Mm-hmm.
Period. So, first of all, I'll just go ahead and say what I was going to say in my video. Um, and I am going to speak to some YT women or mainly YT women in this chat or anywhere out there. If you are listening, get your own men in control before you decide that you want to come talk about my black men. Get your communities in control before you want to come and talk about. Get your boys and your pew pew shooters. Excuse me, your pew pewers who are going
Mm-hmm.
rampant all through the schools before you come talk to me about my black men. I know what's going on with my black men. Okay? And we're dealing with one another. That's what this community is about right now.
Mm-hmm.
So y'all steer clear. You don't like them? Good, great. Give them back to me. Thanks. Um, so I'm gonna leave that one at that. Mainly because my son is in my face. I'm gonna be good. I'm gonna be good.
Mm-hmm.
My door is
I'm gonna
locked.
be honest. I'm gonna be honest, sister.
Yes, sir.
The type of love that you spitting, I've noticed. I'm not gonna. I'm not speaking too generally, but I'm just saying I'm noticing my personal life. So I'm not speaking generally, y'all. But I've noticed the type of unified mindset, the type of love that you are kicking usually comes from a sister with a son, a husband, even a family member that's a man, a black man. You know what I'm saying? That they see their success, meaning black men's success, as necessary for their own. You know what I'm saying? Like you see us conjoined together. Some people I see participating in the gender wars have separated their success from the success of all those in the community, and that's why there's a war because they think you can put down others in our community and still win, and it just won't work. And I made another video about Audre Lorde, who's a famous. I'm not sure if she would call herself a womanist in that time, but she was a black feminist, and she spoke about how we can't have these wars in our communities. We have to be united because no one in our community benefits from the oppression of another member of our group. It just don't work that way. But I don't mean to take it from you. Go ahead, sister.
No, you're fine. This is your live, and I love to hear you talk. So
Thank you, sister.
um, I'm going to move on to the next of can black and YT cultures fully coexist? Um, from what I've seen, from what I've experienced as of right now, I would say no. I would say no. And I'm going to speak on for me right now. I'm not going to speak for the whole black community. As of right now, I don't want to. I know that sounds awful, but I don't want to until you learn how to play well with me, which you guys have not done for I don't know how many years. You guys don't know how to play well with us. You don't take care with our stuff. You don't take care with me. You don't take care with my black men. You don't take care with my kids. So right now,
Mm,
no, I don't want to. And even if there is a time where you guys finally come together and are like, man, we messed up, like how y'all did with the Salem witch trials, and y'all realized y'all messed up. But we're not talking about that right now. Sorry. Um, uh, even then, it's going to take more than just you going, okay, hey, we get it. We were wrong. Can we start over? No, you go start over there. Show me, show me. And I'm not talking about, you can't show me in my community. I don't want to see it in my community. I want to see it in your community. I want to see y'all start treating each other better. I
right,
want to see y'all stop having Karens call Karens on one another. I want to see y'all start doing better in y'all's communities the way we're trying to do better in our community.
right.
We can't come together as a whole when both communities are completely beyond mental health. You know, it's
Mm-hmm.
beyond that. So yeah, no, I'm sorry, but no, I'm sorry that I'm not sorry. That
Right.
I don't want to see it right now. There was a time when I was young and ignorant and still had blinders on my eyes where I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, we could do it. Dear white tea people, I still love you. I'm over it. I
Mm-hmm.
can love you
Obama
I
gave
can
us
love
some
you
hope.
from a
The
sorry.
Obama years, we were supposed to be in post-racial America for like there was a glimpse where it was like, you know what? Maybe they turned a new leaf.
If you can dream it, you can do it.
Yeah.
So, so yeah, that's where I'm at with that.
Uh-huh.
Sorry, not sorry. And I'm having a problem reading the bottom. It
Can
says, "Can
can non-black people be pro-black?
um, that's an interesting one. I guess it means. I guess the definition of
Want me?
pro-black is where
Yeah,
you're
you want me
getting.
to give you the definition?
Yes, please.
All right. Prioritizing your actions and values with what's in the best interest of building the black community. So prioritizing your actions and values with what's in the best interest of not yourself, but the community, but not just the community, building the community. So it's an action,
Gotcha.
building, being active in building or empowering the black community and prioritizing that number one, what we're doing.
Gotcha.
Mhm.
I find it very hard. I don't see it often. Not saying it doesn't happen. It could. Hey, it could happen, but I don't see it. I don't see it
Yeah.
within bankers. I don't see it within the government alone, because the thing is that when you go to the black community, what businesses do you see there? You don't see black owned businesses. You
Mhm.
see Indian owned businesses. You see Asian owned businesses. And when I say Indian, I do mean Indian from India.
Right.
You see everybody else, including, I'll say, African from direct from Africa. But
Mhm.
those who are descendant of slaves here in America, those who were already here pre-colonization, you don't see that.
Yeah.
And it's because of the lack of the funds. It's because we were denied. And this country as a whole, as an institution, I'm not talking about the individual, as an institution, just like how Jim Crow, everybody across the nation who was YT benefited from Jim Crow.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear, I'm not talking slave time. I'm talking 54 years ago.
Mhm.
Everybody across the nation benefited. It was a cool thing to do. The help.
Mhm. Mhm.
So I don't see that. I don't see YT people wanting uh, there to be advocacy for the black community, the growth of the black community. Because if y'all wanted it, y'all wouldn't be waiting for the government to sit back and try and help us out. You would love your neighbor as you love yourself and come into that neighborhood and do what you need to do by it.
Mhm. Mhm.
Christian YT people. But I don't stand by the words of the Bible. I was just talking to
Right.
those who do.
I sure we hear you.
So yeah, that's my take. I don't see it, and I'm not gonna sit around waiting to see it. Black
Mhm.
people, we are a community. We love, and I will say this more often than not, that I see a change within our community. I see it daily.
Yeah.
From the move, I'm originally from Boston, Massachusetts, and
Mhm.
I have moved to the southeastern portion of the United States of America, the corporation of, if you are
Mhm.
black, don't go. Don't go. It's not meant for us. It's really
Mhm.
not. I made a mistake. I can admit that. I'm
Mhm.
working on it. I'm working on it. Okay.
Well, stay safe out there, sister. Thank you for sharing that with us.
Absolutely. I have
That's
to
amazing.
drop, but thank you so much for having me. I'll be trying to get on your live sometimes, but there be like a million people in the box. I'm like, nope, not today. It wasn't
Yeah.
meant for me. But thank you
Always.
again so much. Ashe to you all. Blessings and peace. And black folks, we out here.
We out here. All right. One love. Appreciate you. I'm gonna go to the next guest. I think you got a crescent moon and something flower or something. Could you give us your age, race, and pronouns, please?
Hi, I'm
Peace,
Liz.
brother. Hold on.
I'm
Miss Lady, hold on. Pause,
Oh,
pause,
go
pause.
ahead.
This is Speak.
Hold on. Yeah,
What's
what's up?
happening? So just a quick mob break. For the people in the comments, let's get the likes to 25K. I'm gonna let the next person go, but I just came up. I'm up here. I'm gonna be on the panel, but because I want to say something to you, brother Legend. So there's 100 people in here. By the top of the hour, we could be at 25,000 likes. Let's get to 15 shares. Shit alive with up to 10 people. Everybody tap the screen super fast. You're gonna see a red bar in the corner. If y'all all tap the screen, we can get to that goal. The more likes, the more this gets people to see this on the FYP if they're new and haven't seen this before. The more you share it, the more people will become aware, and the more the message by way of what Brother Legend is doing is going to get out there. For the black and brown people, y'all need to be on top of sharing the live and liking the live and getting this man on the rankings. We got to get to try and get him to at least 100,000 likes every time he hosts a live. The more he gets a higher like number, the more people on the app itself will see it. So for me, I'm big on keep doing that in terms of me being a mod, like reminding people of likes, because I pay attention to analytics and things like that in terms of, just being a social media manager. But let's get to 25,000 likes. More people share the live with 10 people. I'm a mute. The next person can go.
Appreciate you, Speak. Thank you.
Hi,
Hey.
I'm 34 and I am white and my pronouns are she, her.
Okay. Thanks for joining. Go ahead and answer the questions for us, or whichever question you want to talk about.
So for the first one, I don't think, well, so just generally, I think that what is racist for somebody who looks like me is not racist for Black people.
Well. Okay.
So it
Nuance.
depends. Sorry?
I said, whoa, that's nuance. Okay. I'm not
Um,
mad. Keep going.
so I don't think like I think that it's probably racist for white people to have for a white person to have a rule of like I only date other white people, just like it's racist for white people to like have pride around being white, obviously, and in a way that it's obviously not for Black people. And so, yeah, so for white people, yes, most likely racist, but for other races, specifically for Black people, probably not racist. And then for the second one, this is a really interesting question. I am curious as to because I feel like when people say gender wars, they sometimes could mean a lot of different things. I'm curious as to like what specifically you mean when you say gender wars.
On TikTok, there's a lot of content where men and women speak on issues and relationships, stuff like that. I don't know if you ever heard of the Red Pill community,
Right.
Fresh and Fit podcast, stuff like that.
Hmm.
Gender wars. Are they anti-black?
Yeah. So they certainly can be. They certainly can be. When I hear someone bring up gender wars, it has generally been in the context of like there's a story about a woman who has been unalived or who has been experienced violence in some way, and then if somebody brings up the fact that women are experiencing an epidemic of violence from men, then people will say, well, why are you bringing the gender wars into it? And to me, that's like, I mean, that's sort of not a great argument, because it's true that there is an epidemic of violence against women. But yes, they can be anti-Black, certainly. Oh, I can't see the third question. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
And
The gender wars I was speaking about was more the gender wars content, but I can see why that's more intra community than what you're talking about. I think black people might have a different definition of gender wars.
Okay, yeah,
Um,
that was
is
my
what I'm
hang up
trying to
with
say.
that question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So cool.
In terms of the third question, no, not at this juncture. Because what I'm seeing among white people is a lot of just resistance to really walking themselves out of white supremacy and all of the programming that goes along with that. I see a lot of, and I see it a lot on like these lives, for example, not specifically yours, but when white people get onto BIPOC creators' lives, a lot of ego, a lot of refusal to not center themselves, a lot of refusal to even scratch the surface. So a lot of people will say things like, well, I'm not racist because I judge people by the content of their character, and then check the box, racism solved. Like, I'm good on that. And that's so hardly even scratching the surface. And so until more white people, because right now it's very, very few, are willing to do the work, because I think it really does take work and it's a process to walk themselves out of white supremacy, I don't think that it's going to be possible. And I don't know if more people are ever going to be willing to do that, more white people. So, no. And then the fourth one, probably not. I heard your definition of what pro-Black means, I think yesterday on a live, and I just don't, I think that for people who were born in white skin and will always exist in white skin, there's just no way to fully be able to embody what that definition is of being pro-Black. I mean, like, I think that I can try my hardest, and like, even if I did try my hardest, maybe I would get close eventually, but I don't know that I would be ever fully there.
I would say it wouldn't even help if you were, you know, it wouldn't help nobody. Metaphor, I just came up with this yesterday, so I don't know how effective it is yet. I haven't tried it out enough, but it's like if you're running a race and you say to someone, I'll chop off my legs to help you win. And it's like, how is chopping off your legs going to help me win? It's just going to make sure that you can't win, and it's not going to help me. So it's
Oh,
not
that's
doing anything
interesting.
for either of us. For you to do that, we'd prefer it if you would just help move the obstacles out the way, which would be anti-racist, to move the obstacles out of our way, than to focus on trying to, you know, do something that's not going to be in your best interest, in trying to help us. It just doesn't help.
Yeah, that's interesting. Well, thank you.
All right. Well, thanks for your breakdown. You navigated that pretty well. You know, I'll give you for having the critical thinking enough for the bare minimum. We will give you this finger snaps just like that. You know what I'm saying?
Appreciate
You
it.
know, it was the bare minimum, but it was the bar has been set so low that
Truly.
yeah, it just took a little bit of critical thinking to get through that mayonnaise. So you did it. All
All
right.
right. Have a good one.
You too. Darlene, what's going on? Hey, could
To whoever
you?
gave me the 2 coins, thank you so much.
Yeah,
And I'm
welcome.
probably the oldest white lady in here. I'm 66 years old.
Oh wow.
And yeah, I'm old as hell. You hear me? But I've been watching you a lot lately in your lives, and I just love your content. And I
Thank you.
just wanted to come in, and I can't answer all those questions because, like I said, I'm just an old white woman. However, I will make a statement, and I hope I get a finger snap out of it, at least.
But ma'am, I'm sorry. I know you're an elder, but we need you to answer the questions because I
Okay,
definitely want
well,
to
I'll
hear
do my best. How
you
about that?
because of your age range or your time. I'm gonna put it that way, respectfully.
Well, I admit I'm old as hell and I'm grateful I lived this long. But for real, is it racist to only date your race? I don't think so. No, because I just as actually I'm not white. I'm Indian, but I have white too. So I just go by white because I can't. I'm Eastern Band Cherokee. Uh, I've dated with white, I've dated Indian, I've dated Mexican, I've dated black. So I have dated out of whatever my race is, okay? Um, the gender thing, I don't understand that because I am my age. Can black and white cultures fully exist? I wish I could say yes. I wish I could say yes. But in the world that I've grown up in, it was not a nice world. You know what I'm saying? I've seen a lot of bad toward other races. And I did not agree, nor do I agree with it. I don't know if that's helping any or not, but no, I do not agree with it. I don't believe in saying this either. I'm not prejudiced. I have black friends. That's the most fucked up thing that I've ever heard. For real, for real. And can non-black people be pro-black? I haven't seen it yet. I haven't seen it. And that's no disrespect, no due respect. I have uh I have a granddaughter that is married to a beautiful man and they have two mixed babies. They're my great grandchildren. And I have three children myself. This is how I truly, truly feel. And this is going back to Jesus on the cross. I hate those pictures of him. Nobody knows what he looked like. The Bible says he had hair of lamb's wool and
Mm.
his skin is olive colored. Jesus was not a white man.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not speaking against my race. I'm probably going off topic, but Jesus was not a white man. He had a hair of lamb's wool. I
Mm-hmm.
have long straight hair because I'm Cherokee, but
Mm.
I do pray for a better day. Did I get scratched out? Is that
Yeah,
what
you're
that
gonna get
was?
scratched out.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But
Don't
anyway, I just
apologize.
had to,
It's TikTok.
well, but I live in Louisville, Kentucky, and it was
Okay.
very bad a few years ago. So anyway, I'm getting scratched. Thanks for allowing me in. Thanks for the two
All
coins.
right.
And I'm going to keep watching you, okay?
All right. Bye bye. Shout
Well,
out to Gunner. I think that's Gunner's show. Appreciate you. Um, she was trying her the intention, the good intention was really thick, but she didn't all the way have it. But the intention was really thick. I think she just gotta continue to maybe watch the show and just keep trying to learn. You know what I'm saying? But at that age, there's only but so much you're gonna learn. You know what I'm saying? She done learned enough. But the
Try.
intention,
She
yeah, she
tried.
did. She tried her best. Thank you, Gonna Show. Prince, did you want to say anything? I don't want to skip.
No, for the moment, I'm just hanging out. I'm just hanging out today and just hanging out. But yeah, I'm gonna probably chime in later on. But yeah, if y'all go follow, share, like the brother said, speak, say, you're trying to get to the 50K, you're trying to speak out. So make sure we do that, make sure we share and like the program because we having a good topic right now. It's getting good.
Yeah, appreciate you. All right, Melanie, could you give us your age, race, and pronouns?
Hold on, brother. Hold on. Because I want to answer. So I want to answer one of the questions.
Oh yeah, go
So
ahead,
the
brother.
gender war. I'm gonna just do that one, cause I personally been addressing this for a while now, and I saw your video. I think it was. I don't even know if it was recent, but I reposted it. Because on this app, in the black community, I feel a lot of people are blaming this app for what we're doing on this app willingly. We are grown ass adults, and every damn day it's about man versus woman on purpose. This app is not making us do this. We are willingly doing this every goddamn day. Legend is going to end this live, and all of us are going to leave alive. And we could swipe through 100 different lives right now. And it's man between women by choice. Where I'm at this point as a live stream host, I'm moving past all of this weird shit.
Yeah.
Because in my opinion, none of these conversations, none of these debates is helping anybody. It's just all of us wasting time on this app every goddamn day.
Yep.
And you, brother, you one of the black brothers or black people on this app I see is doing something that's conducive to something at all on this app. This is an app made for children. Yet we grown ass people are on this app doing a bunch of bullshit every day, talking about BS. Because I gotta be mindful of your platform. You know, y'all don't do the cursing in here. We do this BS every day. Woman against men, men against women, traditional this, modern that, 304 this, Pookie and Ray Ray that, blah, 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 blah. But in the real world, such as yourself, Brother Legend, you married to a black woman. There are plenty of women on this app that are married to black men.
Right.
Yet we are willingly choosing to have conversations that are based in dividing us. The shit don't make sense. But in the real world, what's going on off of this app is a whole nother world in the real world. Yet the TikTok universe, which I call it, it's this shit is based in psychological and mental manipulation on purpose by us. We're doing this by choice. There's plenty lawyers on here. There's plenty doctors on here. There's psychologists on here. People in real estate on here. There's mentors in here. There's coaches on here. There's teachers. We're all on this shit. But the conversations we're having is as if what we're discussing on this app is real. It does not make sense because think about that 16-year-old that's not supposed to be on this app listening to this stupidity. Think about that 16-year-old that's not supposed to be on social media at all in school listening to y'all nonsense. Think about that 18-year-old young girl who's lost in the sauce, confused, and been abused, and she believes that men hate her because of how she looked. Think about the young man who's trying to figure shit out, got trauma, been beat the hell up, he's scared of the cops, and he's listening to this shit of women saying she hates him because he's a male. It makes no sense, bro. What we're doing on this app, excuse me, Melanie, you gotta hold it down. You got to hold it down. I'm not done talking. I'm gonna let you go, miss, because you're not even assisting me.
Let him land.
Going back and forth with the weird shit. She know me. We know each other.
Oh, okay.
We've had our differences on the app, but
Right.
on this app, it is what it is. We're doing a weird situation. Excuse me. I was saying it is what it is to her. We're being weird on this app on purpose, and I'm waiting to the point where we move past this weird ass shit because we're doing weird things. I gotta be mindful of the cursing. But we're doing it on purpose. And we're pretending like we're not consciously doing this and we're not noticing it. But the divide is here on the app only. But in the real world,
You don't
mothers
see
and
it.
fathers are together. Yeah.
Right.
Fathers are stepfathers. Fathers or men are married to women. Women are married to men. Men literally protect women. Vice all this nonsense we talk about, this shit actually happens in the real world. So what is our purpose on this app as a collective? For the next year, we're going to keep doing this gender war bullshit on this app? Or are we going to make it purposeful? Are we going to make it, are we going to be intentional about changing the narrative and moving somewhere else with this shit? Because, Brother Legend, you're a unicorn on this app. There are unicorns on this app as black live stream hosts. Outside of that, 99% of this shit is trash, bro. And I'm annoyed by it. I'm annoyed by this shit, bro. Where are we going? So I just wanted to answer it that way. I'm a black man. I'm Central American. I'm trilingual. I speak Spanish. Yo soy garifuna. Yeah, I'm black, but I got all that in me. I'm only 2% European. I don't even like that reality, but I'm super black.
I
I'm on
heard
mute.
that. All right, thank you, brother. Speak be coming through, dropping some wisdom bombs. I appreciate that. You know, I love hearing about unity between black men and black women. You know, the gender wars content is another monetized form of black trauma that we see on social media a lot. We do need to have safe spaces to speak on our experiences. However, you know, the best place to talk about things, your trauma and your experience, is a therapist's office, not social media, to be honest. And you know, I think I think more of us need to be a little bit more mindful that our success as a community is not going to happen with just one gender. Our success is intertwined. So I'm glad he was able to bring that out.
Um,
Melanie, yeah, could you
Hi,
give us your age, race, and pronouns?
I'm 38. I'm a Black Latina, and she, her are my pronouns. I think it's super
You're
critical
breaking
of
up,
speak your
Melanie.
truth to speak the way.
You're
Hold on a
breaking up a
second.
little bit.
Give me 1 second. Let me just go to the other side of my apartment. I just have better service
All
over
right.
there. I just think that speak your truth is being
Yeah,
very
she probably got
hypocritical
an
because he.
iPhone. She got to throw that shit in the garbage. Go ahead, Miss
Anyway,
Lady.
nobody asked you, speak your truth. So, speak your truth, and I have interacted several times on many different platforms. And as much as he's on here trying to show face, he literally perpetuates the same issues and the same quote unquote gender roles. And he goes on lives. He says misinformation about black women as well. He perpetuates the same myths against black women
Did you want to answer
that
the
a lot.
questions, or you want to talk about
Hold
him?
on, I'm going to answer the questions after because he interrupted me attempting to answer the questions to go on this monologue, and he himself is a hypocrite because he perpetuates the same things that he's quote unquote tired of, including homophobia,
I'm not
including
going to have you up
transphobia.
here talking about a black man on a live
I'm
meant
not
to
talking about
bring
a black man.
unity.
I'm saying
Yes,
no.
you are. Why are
Again,
you talking about him
and
right now?
I'm
If
saying
you
it.
feel
I'm
that way
saying it
about
because
him, cool. Y'all should go talk
okay,
about it.
brother.
But
And
we
listen,
on a
and
live.
the reason why I'm
These are the
mentioning it is
questions.
that if we're gonna talk about if we're gonna talk about the gender wars and this, that, and the third, and we are not looking at ourselves and how we contribute to it, then that is hypocritical, and that is why I am saying what I am saying. So if you're gonna speak about the issues and you want to be critical about the issues and you want to have an adult conversation about that, you also got to look at the ways that you add to the issue. And speak your truth
I
does
don't think we
add
got
to
to
the
do
issue.
any of that. I think all we got to do is answer the questions and speak our mind about gender wars, and we can talk about all that personally on your own time.
So you let Speak Your Truth come up in here and monologue, but I couldn't answer to him because he's being
Speak your
hypocritical.
truth. Speak your truth was up here longer than you, and he just came up here to moderate, and also he said he wanted to answer one question. So I didn't let him speak over you. Your turn was next. Now it's your turn to talk, and you speaking about him. He didn't speak about you. He didn't say nothing
Anyway,
about you. Oh, he said
I
he
just
made a joke about
again,
your
so
phone. That's
my
about it.
point about all the issues on lead back to what I'm saying about Speak Your Truth. All right, because at the end of the day, when we speak about gender wars, right?
Ma'am, you got to
We're not
focus on the
talking about
questions. Get past talking
exactly,
about
and
me.
this is the
Stop
All right.
question that
lying.
you should
Get
be.
back to the
Don't.
questions.
This
Damn.
is the, and I'm answering the question. There is no true gender war. There was a point in time on the internet when you had many black men coming on the internet and disparaging black women. Black women came onto the internet to defend themselves, and this is what you're seeing right now currently is like the ends of that situation. But at the end of the
It
day,
didn't
y'all
start
cannot
on.
deny. You cannot deny that the gender wars on both ends perpetuate anti-blackness, but for the most part, at the beginning of this quote unquote gender war, it was many black men who were coming onto the internet and saying disparaging things about black women, blaming the issues of the community on black women. And I think what needs to be happening is a critical conversation about how can resolve the issues in our community without pointing fingers, saying this is the black man's fault, is the black woman's fault, is the this, is the that, look at these stats, this is why y'all doing this is y'all. It's ridiculous. I agree with Speak Your Truth in stating that it is ridiculous, but we can't say that this is not happening in real life, because TikTok is a reflection of how people feel in the real world. And this is translating into the real world because we're seeing our boys come up and being triggered, filtered into the alt-right pipeline, into the manosphere, into the red pill space. Red pill, manosphere, all of those spaces, those were primarily YT spaces, and now you're seeing a lot of black men entering into those spaces. And so there are
And
real
women.
consequences, and women for sure, but let's keep it a stack. By and large, the manosphere red pill space is a lot more dangerous
You haven't
than—
seen my comments.
I see your comments. I am sure
My
there,
comments are full
again,
of black men need to go to jail. And that's something only
if black men
Republicans
are
used to say.
if black men are the ones who are causing the violence, if that particular black man who is causing violence against a black woman, yes, that black man should go to jail.
No, you just made that up. I'm talking about people that say abort black boys, abort black children.
Yes,
If they're
that
born,
is,
yeah,
I heard about
I
her.
got that in my comments. I'm
There is
telling
one
you, it's
particular
sisters
woman that
too.
everyone refers to when they're speaking about this, but I can name literally off the top of my head 10 men right now that are famous on the internet for disparaging black women.
I can
And
know
you can only name
I
like one
can
or two
list
black
some
women.
sisters as well, but I'm
Yeah,
just saying
but again,
the entire idea of it is problematic.
to disregard that, regardless, in the socio-political space, in the black community, the people who are perpetuating the violence more so are the men. So what we need to do is figure out what is it that is triggering the men, and then the women in response to have these type of
Nah, 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 nah.
because they're perpetuating,
Hey,
like
hey,
Megan said,
hey.
speak it.
Goodbye.
All right. Thank
Mid
y'all for listening
sentence.
to pause. I would have let her spit, to be honest, but I feel like we were getting into the gender. I feel like this is a
So,
lie,
bro,
but
can I
we
say
were
one thing
talking.
about Melanie? I got a lot of love for Melanie and what she doing here. But I'm going to let you finish. But I just want to say something about it.
Yeah,
Because she don't understand what's going on. But she got this thing about me when we should actually be on this app going back and forth, debating and getting other people to speak on shit. But continue, brother. I just want to say something to her if she's still here.
yeah. I feel like we were starting to go into the gender wars that we don't want to. Like we were starting that, and I'm like, oh man. I mean, she ain't wrong. A lot of brothers, I see it all the time, and I'm about to make a video calling it out. Some of these brothers that go for this red pill stuff. I feel like Speak also mentioned them as well. We as black men need to hold other black men responsible for their anti-blackness. However, their anti-blackness does not benefit us as black men, so you cannot hold an entire group accountable for the anti-blackness of men that happen to be black. I call them male blacks. Male blacks. You know what I'm saying? There's black men and then there's male blacks. All right? The male blacks are black and they're male, but they don't speak for black men. We don't benefit from patriarchy. We can leave women out of it and have conversations amongst ourselves about patriarchy. So we don't need a gender war to talk about patriarchy and hold black men responsible for their part in patriarchy. We don't need a gender war to tell us that. We as black men can hold those brothers accountable ourselves. We do tell them, Miss Rose. We do tell them. We definitely tell them. If it's just the problem is some of them don't listen, and and why don't they listen? Because the people that run this country continue the systems of patriarchy, continue the systems of devaluing black women that tell them it's okay. They've been validated by the patriarchy. They've been validated by society's standards of what men are supposed to be. So they feel like they can be those men that they have never been included in the definition of. We have not been included in the definition of masculinity in this country. Yet a lot of us have internalized that idea of masculinity, take on the Kevin Samuels ideal, of what a man is supposed to be, and we are harmful to ourselves. So what I'm trying to say though is we as black men don't benefit from it. However, a lot of us support something that is detrimental to ourselves And that's why we, as black men, need to hold those black men accountable. Agenda wars, sisters, I'm sorry to tell y'all, y'all can't get nothing through a brother's head. Other men got to do that. The sisters, they not listening to y'all. They not going. A patriarchal, red pill man is not about to listen to a woman tell him how to be a man. He not going to listen. We got to do that. We got to do that. I'm sorry, agenda wars coming on the internet, yelling at men, telling them they did this and that. They don't care. The ones that don't care, not going to care. We got to do that. So, that's why I would prefer to have these spaces where it's just black men, but we can't. My microphone died, but I'm gonna go to the next guest. I appreciate y'all for the gift.
So, brother, let me say just one quick thing about Melanie. I ain't got nothing but love for Melanie. She from New York. She from the Bronx, I believe. How we met on the app was in a different space, but I can tell she's an intellectual. She does debates. I don't do debates. So when people talk to me and y'all want to debate something, I'm not gonna give you the energy because I personally ain't got patience for it. But if you want to talk about something, and we have opposition, obviously I'm gonna have opposition, we can have a conversation. But if you're gonna sit here right now, for example, me and her going back and forth, and she gonna say I'm perpetuating basically the gender war, it don't make sense because you lying. Like you just said, brother, and a lot of people know me. I hold everybody accountable. I talk a certain way because I'm from New York. If a woman say something to me, I'm gonna respond the same way I would a man. Because on this app, I have a responsibility to hold my name or what I do on a platform as a live creator, right? A live host. But if you're gonna disagree with somebody, don't lie on them to make your people who believe you believe they're a demon or a monster, if that makes sense. And that's what she does. But it is what it is, brother. But I'm gonna let you get the live going. But it's nothing for love for that young lady. And I hope we get into a space where we can actually be debating or going back and forth in a positive way. But with that said, I'm gonna let the next person go. Let's get to 50,000 likes. Y'all tap the screen, gift the host, and I'm gonna shut the hell up because I'm here to moderate, but I'm here for the live as well. I ain't gonna lie, brother.
Thank you, Speak. African, could you give us your age, race, and pronouns, please?
Hey, hello. 25. I'm black, Kenyan, half Jamaican, and I'm a man.
That's a hell of a mix, man. Every time you tell me, I'm like, dang, he Kenyan and Jamaican. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, go ahead, brother. Answer the questions for us.
All right. So, is it racist to only date your own race? No. It's just a natural order of things. I mean, people gravitate towards their own. You know, people stay within their own races and cultures. That's just how it's been since the beginning of time. So, no, there's nothing wrong or racist about it. That's just how it is.
Okay.
And the second question, are gender wars anti-black? Well, I mean, I think regardless, they are definitely, very ugly. They can get ugly, and you see it get ugly. I guess I've heard some pretty mean things
Yeah, it
on both
almost got ugly
sides
a
said
few
about.
minutes ago.
What is that?
I said it almost got ugly a few minutes ago.
Ex- yeah, exactly. I mean, I was sitting here and I was watching. I'm like, I wonder where this is gonna go. So I was just curious to see like how long it's gonna like get into that, and then before people start screaming and yelling at each other, and then
Oh my goodness, I
you have
hate
to
those
end the
moments.
whole live. And you
Yeah.
know what? That's why I used to go on a few of these lives, and I've stopped doing that. I mean, the only lives I go on are usually now with like close friends because I'm just like, you know what? Every time I see these discussions, if people get in there with differing viewpoints, there's going to be arguing, there's going to be screaming and yelling. No
Yeah.
one's going to act civilized. I'm just like, it's just counterproductive and a waste of time to get on those types of lives.
Right.
So yeah, I stopped doing it.
Yeah.
And stopped hosting those lives too.
Yeah.
But the next question, can black and white cultures fully coexist? No, they can't. and history should tell us that it can't. The most racially diverse countries on the planet should be, an accurate picture that they can't coexist. Britain, the United States, especially, Canada to a large extent. People have cited Brazil as, some bastion of racial harmony, right? I've been told by Brazilians that it is. I mean, I've heard that Brazil, they say, is more of a classism issue more than it is a racism issue. I don't know. I mean, Brazilians are telling me this. I've never been to Brazil myself.
Mm.
Because I mean, they say race relations in Brazil are actually pretty good. But I don't know that for sure.
I
I've
don't
never
believe that.
been there or lived.
I don't believe that. I
Yeah.
not based off my research, but I know that those that probably make it out of Brazil and travel the world probably have some sense of privilege or entitlement, so they might feel
Yeah.
that way. You know what I'm saying? That's the thing I've noticed.
Because
So
like I've met, because I think it's because I've met a few foreign black people too who have gone there for different reasons, business or
oh, okay.
whatever,
Mhm.
and they say like they feel more at home there than in the United States. I'm
That
like,
makes sense. Yeah.
interesting. I mean, but you know what? Brazil's on my bucket list of places to travel. I definitely want to see the place.
Yeah.
Ever since ever since the World Cup, that they had in Brazil, I've always wanted to visit and see the place. That's what really piqued my interest. But
Yeah.
the last question: can non-black people be pro-black? Honestly, I don't know what they would get out of it. To be brutally honest. Because it's like and that question, it reminds me of this professor I had back in university. She was, well, small town Alberta white woman, you know, from Canada, nice woman, for the most part. But the thing is, she always had this thing about her where, she was always seemed up for, or upping the bat for people that are minorities in North America. And, she'd always celebrate when things would happen. It's like, when a news report came out, I think out of Canada, they said by 2036, I think it is. So that's within the next 13 years.
Mm.
White Canadians will account for less than 50% of the population, right? So she was celebrating and seemed happy about it. And then she's like, white colonials will finally get their just desserts, right? So I was sitting there looking at her, and then what was going through my head, I'm just like, if white colonialists get their just dessert, you do realize you're one of them, right?
Right.
I'm just like, what are you celebrating for? You should be
Exactly.
afraid. I'm just like, I don't
Yeah.
know if she thinks it's gonna bypass her or like the consequences won't come to her, but I'm just like, has she looked in the mirror lately? Like,
Yeah.
it's so, I mean, nah, it's not, I mean, they can go ahead and be pro-black, sure, but I mean, like I said, they're gonna go look goofy doing it, so,
Right.
yeah, that's all I can say about that.
All right. Well, thank you for that. My reason as well for that last question is so that some of us can talk it through and
Yeah,
get an understanding that they're not really going to be our allies in pro-blackness. They can be allies in anti-racism. That's great.
yeah.
We can all work to dismantle racism. Hoorah! But blackness is a different story. But
Yeah, that's the thing. I'm like, she clearly doesn't get the scope of what's really going on. There are levels to this.
yeah, that's like when France tried to get an invitation to join BRICS. Did you hear about that?
And, so, and the South Africans put them on blast and said, "You're not
Yeah,
coming here.
yeah.
Like, who do you think you are?"
What the hell are you doing here?
And even when what's it called? Israel, I think they had an African Union meeting,
Oh,
and
really?
Israel wanted to attend it. They were sitting in the meeting, and then the South African government had the Israeli representative kicked out and said, "We didn't invite you. Go home."
Like, yeah, what the hell? Crazy. But
Oh
thanks,
man.
thanks for your input, brother, and adding value to
Yeah,
the
for
room.
sure.
The Gunner Show, what's going on, brother?
What's going on, brother? I'm gonna try to keep it quick. I don't know if you guys can hear my background when I'm in the gym.
Okay. All right. Go ahead. Holla at us.
What is it? Age, race, pronouns, right?
Yeah. Age, race.
39. Yeah, 39 black. He, him, they, she, her, whatever. Whatever floats your boat, as long as it's not intended to be disrespectful. Is it racist to only date your race? It depends on what race you are. If you're black, no. If you're anything other than black, then yes, because your reason for doing it is rooted in anti-blackness. Our gender war is anti-black. Anything that divides us within our intersectionality is anti-black, because we have to only liberate ourselves through our intersectionality. We can't segment out blacks that are valued and blacks that don't, because that in itself is anti-black.
I heard that.
Can black and white cultures fully coexist? Absolutely not, I think. And this isn't in the racist way, but looking at humans as part of an animal species like any other animals, even animals that are correlated still have separation. There's a reason why poodles don't hang out with Rottweilers. They're both dogs, but they're not the same. So does that mean that they can come together sometime to have a good time? Sure. That doesn't mean that they need to coexist, because they exist on two different planes. Can non-black people be pro-black? No. It doesn't make sense that they can be pro-black unless they're trying to dismantle racism. And then in order to even approach being pro-black, you have to also do that with reparations. If you're just trying to dismantle it and say clean slate to the people who brought us harm, then no, that is not being pro-black. That is self-serving. So, yeah. So that's it. I just wanted to come up here. Yeah, I try to give old gal the grace. You know, we've been here before, right, with our YT protocol allies, and they always end up digging too deep and trying to be down. It's like, let me give you a little bit of grace, probably some grace they don't really deserve, but so that's why I had to get her up out of here. But thanks, brother. As usual, I'm gonna go back to the comments. I'll keep on listening. All right, man.
Everybody, follow the Gunner Show. He's I love his content. He put out a snippet earlier. He's a writer as well, author, and he put out a snippet on one of his videos that really touched home. So check out his content. It's really fire. Like dang. Like, see, the way he breaks it down is kind of crazy. Thanks for coming up, Gunner Show. And then Arnik, could you give us your age, race, and pronouns, please?
Yeah, so age 18. You said race?
Yes, please.
I mean, I don't really believe in race, but I guess you could say black. There's
Okay.
nothing really else. And then for pronouns, it really don't matter. So for the first question, I think, all right, so it's kind of hard to explain, but so is it racist to only date your race? No, but it depends on the reason. For instance, if you're only dating your race because you don't like the other race, I don't think that's right. Obviously, it's not racist, but it's stupid, because you're losing out on meeting good people. Not everyone is bad just because they're a different race than you. You know what I mean? However, if you're dating your own race because you find them only attractive, there's nothing wrong with that. It's what you're attracted to. It's simply just how you feel. You get what I'm saying?
I don't know, because you said you don't believe in race, so why should I take anything you say seriously about this topic?
Race is a social construct. It's not even a real thing.
Okay, but you said you don't believe in that social construct, so why should I believe anything you have to say?
Okay, I mean, that is a valid point, but regardless of if race exists or not, people, for instance, ethnicity, I don't know how to pronounce it, sorry, it's just my accent. It still exists, and people look different, regardless if race exists or not.
Ethnicity is a social construct.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you. Could you repeat that?
Ethnicity is a social construct.
That's interesting. I mean, any form of division in the world that has to do with how you look, if you don't like someone because of that division, that's stupid. But if you choose to not like someone simply because you don't like how they look, for instance, you don't find them attractive, there's nothing wrong with that. You get what I'm saying? That's my more.
What if you don't like someone because of 400 years of enslavement, Jim Crow, black codes, and oppression?
That's just straight up racist. There's nothing like, I don't believe in racism, but I don't believe in race, but I still.
What if it's not based on their race, but how their race treats you, your race?
That is a good point. That's a valid point. But I mean, Could you please further explain what you're saying? Because are you saying it as a white person or are you saying it as a black person? Because as a white person,
I'm
Bro,
saying
yes.
it as a
just
black.
answer the question. Just answer it. Don't ask him. Just go by way of how you're processing it. What do you think? Because you
I'm
doing
asking him
bad,
to
brother.
explain more so I can
You're
answer
doing
properly.
real bad. But I'm a mute because you know how I get.
I'm literally just debating with
He's
him. I don't know
learning.
why you had to interject, but all right. And so could you repeat what you said? Because he just made me lose my whole thought process.
So I'm saying this from the perspective of someone that sees race and believes it is a social construct built on oppression and
Yes,
not equal
definitely.
little boxes that make neat little categories where everyone is equal, they're just a different color.
Yeah,
I know that there's one color that oppresses other colors,
definitely.
and well, they actually call themselves colorless. They call
Yeah,
everyone else a person of color, and the color that you are is based on how they're going to treat you or mistreat you. And I'm saying that if you are the number one target of their mistreatment,
yeah.
it can't. How is it harmful to them for you to say that I would rather be with my own people that won't mistreat me than to, than to try to be with them and be subject to
Yeah.
mistreatment?
I get what you're saying, and it is not at all. It's not harmful to them at all. It doesn't affect just because you don't want to date someone because of their race doesn't indirectly affect them. You get what I'm saying? I'm just saying from a moral standpoint of yourself, you're missing out on dating people or marrying someone just because of their race. When you should judge someone not specifically because of their race, obviously race plays a part in everything. Because if you're dating a white person, you have to deal with the struggles of dating a white person, racist parents, the environment you're going to be in, et cetera, et cetera. But if, let's say, I don't know, you're dating a Hispanic person, and we know Hispanic people are very racist. However,
Hispanic is not a race.
you're right. Let's say you're dating a Cuban person.
Cuban is a
Specifically, no,
nationality.
I know it's not a race. I'm saying that's a nationality, but Cubans are obviously Hispanic. So let's say you're
But
dating a Cuban person.
Cubans are.
I think you mean white Latinos then, right?
All right. Hold on. Let
Where
me
we
ask you a
going with
question.
this?
So, our
Where we
Nick, what
going?
is your nationality or your ethnicity or nationality? What do you
American.
label yourself as when somebody asks you what you are? So, outside of this question of race, what do you say you are when somebody asks you what's your background?
The only thing I could really say is African American because I don't know my ancestors. My ancestors were kidnapped
So
from
you're
their own
black.
country. Yeah.
So you're okay with dealing a European.
Am I
From
okay?
my understanding on how you answering this,
Mother is
you're
confused.
okay with dealing with a white person. Hold on, you're okay with dealing a YT person. Correct me if I'm wrong.
It depends on the type of person they are, but if they were white, I mean, I would not date them just because they're white. I mean, I don't
So
find
based
white people
off,
attractive, but if I did find them attractive, then yeah, I would date them.
But here's the flaw.
I got you.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, legend. Go ahead, brother.
No,
Because
go ahead.
y'all can follow up. Now I would just say, so you're okay with dealing with a colonizer, even though their ancestors destroyed and did what they did to African people, just because you have feelings for them. Am I right?
You're
It's nothing
first
wrong
off,
with dealing with them, yet their lineage, in terms of who they are as colonizers, did what they did to Africans in the U.S., and their people did what they did to drag us all from Africa and drop us off where they did. And in your head, you're okay with dealing with a colonizer just because you have feelings for a colonizer, correct?
yeah, you're right, correct. Because
Or you think that people that do that is
did the
okay?
colonizer enslave my parents?
No, but
The
All
there's a
right, so I ain't got
reason
nothing else.
why
I'm a mute.
when we
I'm a
ask
mute. I ain't got nothing else. I got you.
there's a reason why when we ask you who you are, you just said you don't know your ancestors. You know why you don't know your ancestors?
Because of them, yes, correct.
All right, so that's wild that we're at a place now where we're trying to figure out, even though they did all of this stuff, and do you know why they don't want you to know who your ancestors were? Do you think there was some sort of benefit
Because
that
African
they
people are
had?
powerful, yes.
Yeah,
African
it
people were the
benefited
strongest
them
people on earth at one point.
for your ancestors to not know who they are, so that they could tell them that they were meant to be slaves and to work for free for them in their plantations. So they still benefit from what great granddaddy did because that wealth has been passed down generation to generation. That's how that works. So
That's just not fully true. I
no,
mean,
it
you can
is. It
argue that a
is. It is.
majority of
It's
white
no way
people,
around
yeah.
that. Like if you don't know that, you can say you don't know that, but don't come up here and say it's a lie.
I didn't say it's a lie. I said that's not fully true.
That is fully fucking true, bro. Like, what are you
I
talking
know
about?
white people who live right next to me who are broke as shit. So I don't get what you're saying.
Generational wealth, they're not broke for the same reason you are broke. And that's the
facts.
thing.
That
That's the thing. You're
that
taking
is facts.
history out of context. So just because you don't know your history doesn't mean something is not true. They're not
know my
broke. They're not
history.
broke for the same reason you're broke. And believe it or not, they can get richer a lot quicker than you can.
They definitely can. But that has nothing to do with me wanting to fuck a white person or not. Like I don't get why.
Now, and see, that's where we fall into cognitive dissonance. That's where we fall into you're on someone else because you're 18 and all you care about is fucking. We're talking about
I don't care.
like growing a family.
What are you talking about?
No, I mean that's all you care about is fucking at that age. I get it. I'm not shaming.
I don't. I just said that
you're young and all you for you to even say what you just said, like, bruh, like when you get older, you're gonna look and you're gonna think like with more context, like I'm beyond fucking. Like I get pussy every day. It's nothing. It's not like it's regular now. At this age,
It's the
I'm
mindset.
focused on who can I build a family with, who can I have a future with, and am I going to do that based off my history? Am I going to risk my future and my family's mental health on being with someone that is the reason I don't know my past? That is crazy.
I got a question.
Brother, you got a lot to learn. You have a lot you need to learn, but you're young and we get it. I understand. You got a lot to learn.
I got a question for him. Are you pro-black? Are you pro-black?
Of course I'm pro-black.
How he said he's not black. He said he don't know. He don't believe in race.
I did not say I was.
You said you did not believe in race.
Oh, she got him. But anyway,
you did say it, man. You said it.
All right. Well, I'm African American. Continue.
Actually, one of the first things.
If you're gonna answer the whole thing, that was a question that was coming anyway. But if you can't say you pro-black and thinking about any European dating them or any sexual, you can't even say that. It don't work that way.
Why?
It don't work. We gotta understand.
I'm supposed to hate white people simply because I'm black.
See, that's
Nobody
the
is talking about hate. Yeah, do not bring that in here. Nobody's saying anything about hate.
Nobody's saying that.
Don't do that. Don't set this up like that. There's too many people in here for that.
No one has brought up that people are white, and that's the reason we have an issue. We keep bringing up history, context, mistreatment. We're talking about the real things behind the reason they call themselves white, and you keep going to, well, I'm not going to just not like someone.
But you content with your history the way your history is. You content with your history. You content not knowing what happened to your ancestors. You content with that. Knowing those who done that, you content with that.
Okay.
So, brother, let me just say to you. Let me just say one last thing, because I'm going to let everybody come in, because I don't like doing that when there's too many people talking to one person at once. But, brother, you got to be mindful of how you talking on this app and when you jump in these panels. Because we're literally listening to everything you're saying, and we're following your consciousness, basically. How you respond, give us an impression as to who you are as a person and how your brain works. So when you answer the initial questions, what's your age, race, and pronouns? How you respond to that gives us, even though we've been in tune with this platform for a minute, or I have. We sit here and we listen to how people answer just to get a gist of who's coming up here. Based off how you responded from the initial, we already knew, there's about to be some shit. But you need to be mindful of how you respond to things and how you're talking, because from me to you, you're a brother, you're a young brother at that. How do I say this? You have to have more standards and hold yourself accountable, or have more self-awareness. Excuse me. I'm holding you accountable for having more self-awareness. You lack self-awareness, and I can tell that you don't know enough to be able to answer these questions or have the conversation the way we hoped you would. Not how you should, because you can respond however you want. But you lack knowledge or self-awareness in history, especially, to be able to have this conversation. That's just my opinion. But I'm gonna mute and I'm gonna let the rest of y'all have it. Just be mindful of how you talking up here, bro, or just in any panel.
Can you please not mute? I just have to say something to you. So you think so you say I don't know anything about my history, right? So why do you assume I don't know about my history? Because I can explain to you why I know about my history, but I
didn't say you. I said you lack enough knowledge about history. You lack knowledge, brother. We can tell by how you talking or responding. You lack knowledge. And you got more to learn. That's why I said that. You have a lot more you need to learn.
Okay. All right. Listen,
you could argue
this is a good test of how much you know about your history. Name one black king.
Name one black king. Can they be Egyptian?
No.
But Egyptians were also black. So why can't I name one black king from Egypt?
I just said no. I didn't say that there were no black Egyptians. I just said other than Egypt, name one black king.
Other than Egypt, name one black king. What country?
Any?
Just name one.
Brother, this is simple. Don't make it
King Namar.
complicated. Just answer.
King Namar.
All right. Name one matrilineal tribe in Africa
Can't
today.
do that.
Okay.
I don't know the definition of it, so I couldn't do it.
Matrilineal, where inheritance is passed down through women.
Matrilineal. Repeat that.
Matrilineal, where inheritance is passed down through the women of the tribe.
Oh. Wait, hold up.
Name
I
name
can't
an
read
African
what's up,
tribe, and name. This is easy. Name the West African tribe or civilization rather that still practices Judaism.
Sorry, repeat that.
Name the West African civilization that practices Judaism.
Yo, Legend, this
Wait,
yeah,
I've been
he
told.
gaslight.
I don't
He
know how to
acting like he
pronounce
don't
it.
hear you. He hear you talking, bro. Stop playing, man. Answer the
How do I
questions.
not hear?
If you don't know the
Why are you
answer,
being
just say I
rude?
don't
I
know.
didn't hear him, bruh.
Cause you
Like,
pretended
what?
like you don't hear him talking. We all hear Legend talking, bro.
Oh, so am I in
Answer
the
the
room with you?
question or just
Am
say
I
I
in the
don't
room
know.
with you?
Stop
Am I
playing,
in the
bro.
room with you? You act like I got the perfect
All right,
Wi-Fi,
all right.
bruh.
Don't
Like,
yell at him.
yo,
Speak.
man,
Come on, man. Let me be.
I
Yeah, I'm
want
gonna
to
fall
teach him.
back.
I
But
don't
you
want. I want him
playing.
to feel
You
bad.
playing.
like, what you
I
mean I'm
know.
playing? I didn't
Speed, be
hear him.
easy
I
on
did
him.
not
He's
hear him.
little
How you gonna
brother.
tell me
He's
I didn't
little
hear him?
brother.
That's your problem, bro. Like,
Speed,
what?
be easy on him.
How you
He's
gonna tell
little
me
All right.
I
brother.
You
didn't
know what I'm
hear him?
saying? Yeah. He just got to learn some stuff, but it's cool, man. I encourage you to check out some of my content or just keep checking out the live, man. The purpose of my platform is to teach brothers like yourself. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, you can learn more about the motherland and our culture and our customs. You know, what you're saying. I've believed at one point too. If I was 18 at the same time you 18, we might agree on a lot of things. You believe it or not, but the more you know, the more you know. But appreciate you for sharing that with us. Did you finish all the questions?
No, I honestly only got to the first one
Jeez.
because
All
I
right.
kept getting cut off.
All right. So we're gonna let you keep going, and hopefully we can maybe we can educate them. You know what I'm saying? If need be. Go ahead, brother. Keep going.
Our gender wars anti-black 100%. It's always a black woman telling a black man what to do. It's never. They're always trying to hold black men accountable for stuff that every person is different. You can't hold a black man accountable for other stuff that black men do. While a black man should tell other black men what to do and what not to do, simply because of respect, you can't expect a black man to do it just because he's black. You have to teach him to do it. You can't just say you have to tell a random dude you never met before to do something because you're black. No,
Okay. All
he
right.
should know to do it, but you can't force him to do it. You get what I'm saying?
Y'all, and hold on, because I see the sisters. I see y'all in the comments. Hold on with the reactions. Listen, brothers, do you see how the gender wars are affecting the youth? You see what's going on? They listening to us, and now they repeating this
It up,
bullshit.
bro. You can't make it up. You
You
can't
know
make
what I'm
this up,
saying?
man.
It's sad, man. This is sad.
It's sad, bro. It's sad, bro. You see what they's doing, and this is why I say the gender wars is anti-black, because this is
Literally.
the problem. This is the problem.
Literally the main part of gender wars is black women and black men arguing. I never see it with white people. We need to hold ourselves accountable, bro. All that happens is black women and black men are divided from this shit. It makes no point. If you expect you to have a black man as your husband, then you need to respect him as the man he is. You can't just say, oh, he needs to be this, that, rich, 6'2", tall, muscular. Like, you can't expect that from him just because he's a man. That don't make sense. They're always trying to divide it, and it's usually about shit that men can't control. Like talking about like, okay, they'll like bring up the fact that so much black men are in jail, so black men ain't shit. Do you hear that? Do you hear that argument? Black men are incarcerated 7 times more than white men, more than any other race. And you want to know why? Because of convictions. You know how many, bro? I literally witnessed it myself. My stepdad was falsely incarcerated for something he didn't do, that he wasn't even in the state for, that he wasn't even in the same vicinity as. And black women immediately attacked him. Was straight to call him not shit.
But
Was
here's
straight
the
to say,
thing.
oh,
Here's the thing. We're talking about gender wars. We're not talking about what black women are
but
saying.
this is the type of stuff that comes up in gender wars. It's always black women trying to shit on black men because of stuff that other
And
black men have
and
done.
and I understand you feel that way because you're a black man, and what they say affects your emotions, affects how you feel. I feel the same way too. It triggers me, but we also have to know that there are members of our own group, black men,
Yeah.
that have perpetuated this nonsense.
It's even worse
So
with the black
you
men,
see
to
what
be
I'm
honest.
saying? No, I
Yeah.
don't feel like it's worse one way or the other. To be honest, I feel like it's just as bad both ways. And I don't feel like a lot of the gender wars content is productive at all. I think a lot of us need to go to a therapist and stop coming on TikTok live and spilling out our trauma. But to be honest, you know, what you're saying, especially about how black men are mistreated, all this other stuff, that is something that we can talk about. And then sisters also want to talk about, when it comes to the fight of the patriarchy, a lot of black men don't pick up
They don't.
the tool. They
It's
don't,
mostly
because
black women in the BLM
you
protest.
see what I'm saying? But then we also, as a community, need to talk about how we need to redefine what masculinity is within our community. We cannot define masculinity based on white men. White men providing, conquering, providing resources for your family does not mean capitalism. It does not always mean capitalism. I could go me and my wife, go buy a farm, eat off our own land, own our own property, not make a dollar for years, and still I'm a man. If my boss fires me, I am still a man. I will still provide for my family. I will still make sure my family can eat. So our bank account does not define our masculinity. Bank accounts define the masculinity of Europeans, and that's their system. You
Fact.
understand? So, but we can talk about that. You see what I'm saying? But the thing is, the gender wars and some of this, like what the sisters are saying. I want to give them space to speak on it, but I feel like the best place to speak about your trauma is a therapist. We gotta stop, even as black men, venting on these lives because we messing up the minds of the youth. So yeah, that's the thing.
I definitely agree with what you're saying, and I may have come off like anti-black woman, but I'm literally not. I'm dating a Caribbean woman myself.
You
I
was
mean, that
you was
isn't really
venting
matter.
how I understand. I understand some of those feelings. It's just, yeah, right. You wanna come off defending because they're gonna call that chauvinist. That's definitely chauvinism when you defend your own side of the war, and you know what I'm saying. When in reality, both sides in the gender war is wrong. Now, both sides do not have the same experience. However, both sides need to be black men specifically have been held to have held themselves less accountable to dismantling patriarchy. We talk about
That's
our
not black
plight.
men's fault though.
Right. We didn't create that patriarchy. We don't benefit from it. The problem is, we at the same time have brothers who are just like many other anti-black men that uphold it, and we gotta deal with that. That's on us. But that don't got nothing to do with sisters. To be honest, we don't have to have that talk with them. Like I was saying earlier, we are not going. The men that don't listen are not going to listen to black women. So gender wars is not going to help nobody. Black women yelling at black men is not going. Black men that don't listen is not going to help. We got to talk to them. We might be able to get across because we're men, but they not going to listen to the sisters.
All right, and for can black and white cultures fully exist? I honestly believe, and it's sad to say, but I don't think they can, but not for the same reason most people believe it. It's simply because white people are too deep rooted in, like you were saying earlier, white supremacy, that they benefit from it regardless if they realize it or not. And I've seen and I've witnessed it myself where I had friends that were white, they literally can go into They can go to school, right? Do drugs, all this shit, not get kicked out of school. Nothing bad happened to them. The same thing, the same exact thing happened to a black kid. He's gone, and then white, and then they just won't realize that it was because they're white, not because they got lucky. You're white, so you didn't get the downfall. Like for instance, I'm not even gonna get into that because that's personal, and I'm not trying to bring my personal relationship in it. But white people benefit from it regardless if they know it or not. And you could be a broke white person and still benefit from it. But that's all I'm gonna say. I'm talking too much. I see other people want to talk. Can non-black people be pro-black? That's a good question, to be honest. It's a hard question to answer because while if you're not black, you really can't be pro-black because of the fact that you won't be able to experience the same stuff as black people, so you can't really speak on it. The closest thing that I believe maybe Hispanics can. I don't believe Asians can at all. They don't have anywhere in similar struggles to black people.
Hispanics not a race. There's black
sorry.
Hispanic people.
What would you consider like those people? What would they be called?
If you're talking about mestizo or some call themselves Chicano, but I call them indigenous. They're indigenous. This is their land, pretty much. There's just a line drawn. Latino is also not a race.
All right. Yeah, Latinos. Sorry, Latino.
No, Latino's not a race. That's another ethnicity.
Oh, okay. Well, regardless, that's the only thing that's the only people that I think are close enough to our struggles. They don't have our struggles, but they're damn near close enough. But I don't think non-black people can be pro-black. But they definitely can help with black issues. You know, they can help speak on it, help spread awareness. But because you can't experience the same thing as black people, you can never say, oh, this is bad for black people. It is bad, but why are you acting like you can help it? You know, I don't know how to explain it. I don't know how to articulate it. There's too much going in my head right now, and I have to go to basketball practice. I'm not going to.
Oh, man. All right. Hey, man, you have a good time.
I'm sorry for getting angry earlier. It just felt like you
guys were
trying to shoot me down while I was trying to explain.
Hey, man, this live is for you, man. You safe here, and appreciate you coming up. Have a good time at basketball practice, and I followed you. Feel free to come back up another time.
All right, have a great day.
One love, brother. Scott, could you give us your age, race, and pronouns, please? Scott, it is your turn.
Yeah, what's up, man? My name is Scott. I'm a black man. I'm 53 years young. My pronouns is I'm a man. I'm a man. He, she, him.
Hey, I heard that. Almost caught him. Anyway, I'm playing with you.
No, well, I'm just saying that whole pronouns thing is on some craziness. That's some that's just some new age crazy. Like my pronouns. What do you mean my pronouns? I'm a man.
When people ask me my pronouns, I say I am him. You know what I'm saying? I'm him.
Me,
like that's
he,
it.
Me,
So
I am. I am.
Right.
That's my pronoun. But to answer the questions, is it racist to only date your race? No, it's not. Not at all. But see, I think that the difference is, or my stance on this is that because I have a mixed daughter. I have a daughter. Her mother is Japanese and German, right? So that's who's on my profile thing. I get all the time in these lives, white people come in, black women, white women. Oh, you got a white girl on your thing. Well, that's my daughter. But all right. But yeah, is it racist? No,
you got
it's
a
not.
daughter. You got a daughter with a thin Libyan?
I have a daughter I have a daughter with a Japanese and a German. Her mother is Japanese and German.
Okay.
So that's my daughter. That's if you look at my thing, that's who's with me on my little profile picture or whatever. But anyway, my point is, no, it's not racist to only date your race. But from a human standpoint, you might miss out on that illusion of love, or that feeling of love, because when we think of love, when we think of dating, we think of just when you just kicking it, you enjoying somebody, this illusion of what love is, which is just a feeling. Besides actual love, true love, self love, those are two different things. So you may miss out on that. You can be attracted to a woman that's not black, that's not of your race, and you know what I mean, and have feelings and get intimate and all of that, right? But when you talk about marriage and and building a family and something substantial, then it's usually that's more of a it's a business arrangement, not really a business. I don't want to say business arrangement, but it's an arrangement. It's not always based on that feeling of love. It's built on a goal of the family, and for races, it's always just been generally true throughout history that those type of relationships and family structures are all within your same race. So because that's what's going to build your race, what's going to build your family, sustain something. So that's my take on that. Are gender wars anti-black? Yeah. First of all, I think the gender wars is a misnomer. There is no true gender wars, but in the state that we have it now, yeah, it is anti-black simply because gender wars is a feminine. That's like an offshoot of feminism, which is a white women's movement. That was something white women created in the movement. Black women and black men historically have never really had no issue with gender wars or knowing their gender and knowing their place or acceptance and where they fit in the structure of being black. You know what I'm saying? It was never black women like, oh, F the black man and black men F the black woman. Nah, we had social issues or whatever where men mistreated women and the pimp era and all of that, you know what I'm saying, black exploitation, all of that. But those are all that's not that wasn't no war. It wasn't no everybody's anti-war. But right now within this social media age, there's a void that Kevin Samuels, I bring him out, he ain't the only one, but he was like one of the top dogs, reached the top level of that. And right now, since his passing, since his transitioning, I think there's a void trying to be filled within the black community, the black space, where black men want to take up that mantle, and that's all financial gain. But there's no true gender wars. But in the state that it exists now, currently in this social media area, yes, it is definitely anti-black. It is not nothing that is positive or supportive of black people. Period. That's my take on that. Can black and white cultures fully coexist? Yes, they can. I think. Ideally, I think.
Lord. Oh man. Oh,
Now listen.
this was so good, man.
Now listen,
Go ahead.
from an idealistic standpoint, yes, because we're all human beings, we're all, you know what I mean? But do we? No. Does it seem like that's going to be something that's going to be happening? No, not at all, because white people are too invested in white supremacy. Black people too invested in white supremacy. Just this, everything is we're too invested in the current system and structure that has been put in place to where that ideal outcome is almost impossible until we completely deconstruct all of that and get beyond what that is and just back to just being a human race. But then that's debatable on if we even the same species, if we the
Oh
same.
man, no, don't go down that rabbit hole. Let's keep it
But
clean.
but but I just wanted to say that. But yeah,
Yeah.
so can black and white cultures fully coexist? Ideally, yes. Okay. And
I mean,
what's the
No
next?
ideally,
yes to even
that's like saying, do you believe I could jump to the moon?
No, you can't jump
In
to the moon.
theory, if I could jump hard enough, I could jump to the moon. It's possible. But
Yeah, okay.
if I told you I could jump to the moon, you wouldn't believe me because you never seen it done. So what I'm trying to say is that's not something we have never seen one time in history where white culture has been able to fully peacefully coexist with another culture because whiteness demands assimilation into oneness.
Well, I think if we go back though, throughout the thousands of years when there was mystery schools and everybody came from all over this planet came to Kemet to learn.
There was no
You
such
know what
thing
I'm
as
saying?
white people back then.
Huh?
There was no such thing as white back then.
Not on the construct, but the Greeks and the Romans were European. They weren't.
Well,
They
if you want to talk about Kemet,
were
and Dr. John Henry Clark said that Egypt, Kemet, basically Greece and Rome were colonies of Egypt, not so. Those are both two African inventions, Greece and Rome. Eventually, yes, they were European, but there was no such thing as Europe when Greece and Rome were around, so they couldn't have been European.
They wasn't
Europe is a
melanated.
Europe is a new continent. Europe is brand new.
That's
Europe is the
true. That's
newest
true. But
continent.
they weren't melanated. My point is that all the colors, all the spectrums of that existed on Homo sapiens sapiens went and studied and all coexisted together. Is that not a fact?
But they weren't. See, that's the part that you're missing. You're thinking about black and white is just some innocent term that just describes how people look, and I'm saying
Mhm.
no. There's a caste system that created these two terms.
That's
So
true.
you're talking about ancient days before this caste system. So I'm talking about during the cat. As
Oh
of
well, yeah.
now, after it has been invented, is it possible? Yes, black people and white people can coexist. We've been doing that for 400 years. We here. Would I say we peacefully coexisted or fully coexisted? In peace? No, but we
Right.
can coexist with the people. The culture, however, see, black culture was created in spite of being oppressed and meant to survive oppression. White
True.
culture was literally created for one purpose: to oppress, to colonize, to
True.
enslave.
Okay.
They
Yeah.
didn't care about
Exactly.
their whiteness until the Pope said that they could have manifest destiny and go into places that were uncivilized and unchristian and just take land and take people from their land. So,
Exactly.
you see what I'm
Exactly.
saying? So,
Okay.
how can the
Yeah.
culture coexist?
Okay. So all right. So I can see to that. You're right. So yeah, no, then they can't fully coexist. In theory, I still say in theory, yeah, but nah, they don't, and it almost seems like impossible that they can. Can non-black people be pro-black? Absolutely not. I mean, because then I mean, they can be anti-racist. I think you said that earlier. They can be
Yeah,
anti-racist.
all day.
They can be against white supremacy. They can, be like, yo, that's wrong, mistreatment, whatever, this and that. But really, just to be not pro-black, that would be in essence saying I'm putting somebody else before me. So if
Right,
I'm a white person, European, why would I? What possible reason would I have to be like, I'm just gonna be for putting this pro-black? I'm being that. I'm for this and not
right.
for me. Nah. So yeah. So no, I don't think that they can be allies against white supremacy, against this system that has got us all messed up. But nah, they can't be ever truly pro-black. So
Right. Well, I heard that. Thank you, Mr. Anderson,
well, thank you,
for
bro, and
breaking
I,
that
I,
down
pre-
for
I
me.
appreciate I appreciate your space, man, and speak truth. I follow him sometime. I get on his lives every once in a while. I appreciate both of y'all brothers. And doing what you do. This app,
Always.
this social media is a crazy thing. Kind of, I think what the sister was trying to allude to earlier was that it's a speak what speaks truth spoke out like yo it's crazy it's weirdness a whole bunch of weirdness but I think a lot of people is getting mixed up and that this app and social media is not for us anyway it's really to be to our detriment and so
Mm,
it's good to have brothers like yourself and speaks to counter that and that's all I
absolutely.
want to say bro so peace.
Thank you, brother. Peace. I followed you as well. Um, restricted. Could I have
brother
your age,
restricted.
race?
Before you go, hold on. Let me do the quick
Oh
mod
yeah, yeah.
commercial.
It is
Yeah.
time. Yeah.
Listen, y'all, it's 200 people in here. Let's get these likes to 60,000. Everybody tap the screen super fast. If y'all tap super fast, you're going to see a red bar in the corner. If y'all keep tapping, once the red bar is full, it's 100 likes. I know in about 15, well, in the next 30 minutes, we can be at over 60,000. So everybody tap the screen. Let's get to 50 shares. So share the live with up to 10 people. Get your people in here. Tap the screen. Make sure y'all gift legend, man. We got to see some hand hearts, some crowns, some money guns, some galaxies, all that hot shit.
Yes, sir.
So y'all gift the brother, support the platform. So again, the more likes, the better it is for the host, the live stream. So if we get to 100,000 likes, anytime he hosts a live, it'll get him on the rankings in terms of the app itself. And the more people are going to see this on the FYP. So anytime he go live, let's say for the next 30 days, he gets 100 likes, 100K likes every time. Every time he go live, more people are going to see it. And the app is going to basically prioritize legend on the rankings, and more people going to see it. So we got to get this message out. So y'all tap the screen, get the likes up. Hopefully by the time he end the live, we at least damn near 200,000. God damn it. So share the live, tap the screen, and support the brother with some gifts. And I'm on mute.
Appreciate you, brother. Restricted. Yeah, let's have your age, race, and pronouns, please.
White, 38, and I'm him. I don't know. I'm a
All
he,
right.
him, whatever that is.
Thank
I
you.
don't really follow the pronoun thingy.
All right.
Good evening, everybody. Brother, I gotta tell you, I like the way you argue, but I need to buy you a microphone. So we're gonna get on our DMs. I'm gonna mail you out a nicer microphone. Because earlier the fan or something, whatever it was making quite a bit of noise. Before I get to my points, can I ask you the following? Do we have to stick to the discussion points,
I would
or can
prefer
I go?
that.
Okay, good.
I prefer that, to be
So,
honest.
is it racist to only date your race? Your stance is that it is, right? Or
No. My stance is that that's a
very
nuanced
good.
question. Don't run through it too fast.
It
Take your
is a
time.
nuanced question. It is a
Yeah.
nuanced question.
It's short,
But
but
let
it's
me ask.
nuanced. Yeah.
There's so much I want to go back to the previous arguments you guys were having, but I guess we're going to get to them when we get to them.
Okay.
I wasn't raised in America, so I'm not
Where was you
brainwashed by.
raised?
I was raised in Albania, which was a communist country for the most part. It was a very
Hey,
closed
is that
ecosystem.
where the dumb yes guy is from? Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
actually,
yes.
yeah, 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 yeah,
The
yeah.
fat guy. I love that
But
guy's
I'm not.
videos. It's hilarious.
It is hilarious. But I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not. I haven't been brainwashed with that. I've been brainwashed with other things in life. From politics and governments and stuff like that. But I haven't been brainwashed about race. That was never one of our things or agendas. We just went about life. So when I came to America, I was exposed to a lot of first times. You understand? One of the first times I was exposed to is that divide and conquer ideology was being implemented quite well. And I think that you, brother, are missing the point of that a little bit. And I'll explain the why. All of these ideas of, is it racist to only date your race? That question shouldn't even be asked to begin with. That question shouldn't exist, in my opinion, because the moment that you try to quantify things like that, you're immediately dividing people into groups that they shouldn't be divided to begin with. So as far as love is concerned,
I
and
am by asking
yeah,
the question.
yeah. No. The fact that that question exists to begin with, the fact that that question has to be asked to
It sounds
begin
like
with.
you're more mad at the question than the social
No,
construct.
no. I'm mad at how society has brought about that we have to question such things. That's what I'm mad at. We should not live in a society, because I come from a background that question would never even cross anybody's mind. But we have been divided. We've been divided by color. We've been divided by gender. We've been divided by every little thing that powers that be could divide us by, so they can hold on to power and increase their power. I think we're missing the big picture a little bit. We're focusing too much on, even in these arguments that I was listening to right now, the biggest arguments were emotional in nature instead of factual. You asked
You
the
sure
previous
about that?
the younger guy whether or not he knows the 5 kings or one king that was black. Well, let me ask you this: do you know who the wealthiest man that ever existed on planet Earth is?
I do.
Dude,
He was black.
yeah,
Yeah, I
we
know.
do.
Okay, so the
Well,
reality of
I
things
mean, he
is that,
wasn't black; he was African. But if we looked at
okay, wait, technicalities, but you get my point, I guess. Can you hear me? Because I can't hear you right now.
No, we don't get your point, but keep talking because you're saying some crazy shit. But continue, sir.
No,
Well,
no,
again,
I'm not gonna
I'm
lie.
looking.
I hear him to an extent outside of the last point.
Well, what I'm trying to point out is that we should focus on what caused our society to get to the point where we even have to have those arguments. That's what I'm trying to point out.
why are you talking to me about that though?
Oh, no, no, I'm not talking to you in particular
Because
about that.
I
I'm
have
just
nothing
saying
to
that
do with the
earlier when
creation
we
of
went,
that social construct. I would say you have more of a proximity to those that created it.
that is true.
So why are you talking to
Sadly,
me? Like
sadly,
I'm trying to work with the systems that are on top of my head and get people to think more about how we can be affected by these systems, even in how we date. Love is
how,
one of the 9 areas of people activity that perpetuate racism. So, have you read Dr. Neely Fuller Jr.'s compensatory counter-racist code?
no, I have not.
Okay, so one of
But
the
let me
ways that racism manifests itself is in how we love. So the reason I have this live is to help people that are discriminated against because of this so bad, such oppressive system, something we shouldn't have to even worry about. Is because it affects us every time I walk out the door. I'm seen as a black man. So I can't just sit here and say, oh, I wish we just could ignore it all, guys. It's something that actually affects us. So it's something that is better if we equip ourselves with understanding how it operates.
Well, how about
Brother,
this? Instead of
And
understanding,
sir, you kept saying, hold on real quick, y'all. You kept saying we need to focus on this. Who do you mean by we? Can you expound on that? Restricted or whatever your name is, restricted?
all of us,
What do you
it's
mean by
all of
we?
us,
Who's we?
all of us, every single individual that's here listening to this. We should not focus on what our differences are. We should not focus on what the system is trying to force upon us. Because remember, you're right about 10, you're right
All right,
about,
so
10
I
white
got you.
men.
I
Let me
got you.
finish.
So where are you
Let me
from
speak.
again?
I'm Albanian.
Yes, yes, yes.
Well,
Do
let
you
me point
consider
out the
yourself to
following.
be black?
No, I do not.
Do you live in America?
Yes, I do.
Do you, in your existence as Armenian or whatever you just said, because I ain't got my headphones in. Do you
Doesn't
think
matter.
your experience is the same in this country as it is to an African American or a Latino
Well,
American
let me point out the following. I came here as an immigrant.
compared to,
So is
hold on,
brother.
European people
I'm sorry?
or Caucasian people?
I don't understand what you mean by that.
So in this country, white people's
Yes.
experience versus
Hmm.
anybody else who is not European and or white or Caucasian, do you think
Okay.
our experiences in this country is the same?
Absolutely not. Absolutely
So
not.
then why are you in a space and you don't consider yourself to be black, to be in a black space to say we need to focus on other things? You know you inserting yourself in a conversation that you don't belong in. You don't even belong on this
Actually,
panel
I
saying
brother,
do.
that.
brother, one
I'm
second, brother.
offended by
In fairness
how
to
you
the,
said that.
second,
Because you're saying
one
we
second,
and
my
then you
brother.
included
In
everybody else
fairness
in
to,
this, which didn't make sense.
brother, I understand what you're saying. In fairness to the Albanian brother, the Romanians, the Russians,
Ali
they don't
Mons, is
have
that
any.
you?
Yeah, I'm just
You've
giving
been
a
up here
point to what
before, but you're kind of interjecting. If I let everyone talk, no one gets to get out, what they're trying to say.
Yeah,
This is not
this is
going in
just
order.
one. I appreciate you, brother. It's
You
just one
also
important
called an
point.
Albanian a brother. I told you. I
Oh
know you
shit! I didn't
know me,
even
right?
yo, legend. I didn't even
No,
notice. I
no,
thought
no.
that was restricted talking. I thought that
I
was
was
restricted. I'm not looking at my
I was
phone. I thought I
talking
was
to
talking to
speaker.
restricted.
I was talking
Yo,
to
yeah,
speaker truth.
Alta Minds, Elite Minds. I don't know if that was you who was talking to just now. I was talking to restricted this whole time.
Okay,
Who
okay.
was I going
Go
back and
ahead, brother.
forth with, nigga? I'm over here
Go ahead,
smack. I
brother.
ain't gonna lie.
Go ahead, brother.
Who was I just talking to?
Let me continue, please. Let me just make my piece. This
Let
is
him speak.
restricted.
Yeah, don't
Or
say
was I
nothing.
talking to restricted this whole time?
Yes, you
Because
were.
you said somebody was interjecting, so I didn't know if I was
Yeah,
going back and forth with somebody
restricted.
else or this guy.
Speak your
Yeah.
truth.
Because I was talking to
Tell me what I don't
this
believe.
Albania. That's crazy. I was
Yeah.
talking to restricted, right? Oh, shit.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know
And it
what?
was
Let me
telling me,
fall back, brother. If you can answer the questions, you said restricted. Were you the Albanian or somebody else?
Now,
I'm the
restricted is the
Albanian.
Albanian.
I got you.
Yeah.
So, brother, if you can answer the difference between, the experiences, black people versus everybody else in America, can you do that? I'm a
100% I
mute
could.
because I don't know what just happened. But if you could answer that for me, because I feel offended by how you answer that question, and you're saying we need to focus on other things. You're wrong for that. But go
I hear.
ahead. I'm a mute because I don't know what's going on. A lot of people like jumping in, but
So
I'm gonna
just
fall
to
back, man.
clarify, you want me to answer the difference of being a Caucasian versus any other race in America, whether I realize that or not, and
The
why am I part
experience
of this
is the
conversation?
same, and you're not a black person, and you're on a panel saying we need to focus on other things that are more important. Yet the
Absolutely.
conversation or the
Let me
purpose of the
explain.
live is to focus on what we're talking about.
Let me explain why I am entitled to be here, or at least I expect to be part of this conversation, because you always need
Oh, nah,
representation. You cannot
it's
make
not.
a
It ain't
difference.
gonna. That ain't gonna happen. I'm gonna let you continue, brother, but nah, it's already a
Let me
nah for
finish.
me.
Let
But
me finish
continue. I'm
my
listening
point.
to
I
this
think
shit.
you're
Oh
jumping the gun.
Lord.
I think you're jumping the gun. What I'm saying is, first of all, you need representation. Second of all, there's no point in you talking to your other black brothers without. It's not going to make a change unless you also go to those people that are in power, which happen to be white, because the system was designed
Some
that
people
way from
don't
the
listen to
get-go.
us. We don't give a damn about them people coming up on my live, man. We don't give a damn about them people. We don't ask them for shit. We ain't come up here to talk to y'all.
Not, not
I'm here to
about
talk to black people. Shout out to the brothers and sisters worldwide that join my live. I ain't here to talk to them. I'm here to educate us and talk about things that's going on with us. Why do we give a damn about what's going on in your community? We haven't
know your
gave a
enemy.
damn
How
about what's
about
going on
this?
in your community way too long. I don't give
How
a
about know your enemy? How about you know
So
your enemy?
so so that means you're not entitled to be in
Hold
our
on, y'all. Hold on,
space.
hold on. Let him just let him finish. Let him
On.
finish. Let
How
him
about know
finish.
your
Let him
enemy?
finish. Let him
Making a
say what he
point that
wanted
you
to
don't
say.
care about talking to the white the white people and trying to. I get that. Fine, no problem. You have your reasons that most of them are valid. Some of them I could argue against, and we will argue about that if I don't get kicked. But know your enemy. What about having a white man? No, I know I was about to use that earlier, but then the guy said goodnight. But know your enemy. How about that? You're not putting any effort to know your enemy.
We
I
know
agree
our
with you.
enemy. We done raised our enemies' children, wash their houses, clean their bathrooms, clean their menstrual rags, our aunties and uncles and grandfathers. We know our enemy. We raised them. We taught them how to take goddamn baths and wash their ass. You don't need to teach us about our enemy. We don't give a damn about y'all. And when it comes to this live, we're not here to speak truth to any of y'all. We don't give a damn about y'all. Y'all do not care about the truth. You have shown us that time and time again. I'm not going to sit here and argue with a brick wall. I'm here to talk to my people. But if you want to come up and you want to educate us on your ignorance, then feel free. But at the end of the day, we are not here to entertain you or try to make change within a society that has excluded us.
So I have
I
a
have not
question.
made any
Wait,
points
I have
so far at all.
wait.
And
No, you have. You've made a few points. You stated your
no, I
stance
haven't.
on the
I
opinions
was
on the
never
board.
I was never
Hold on,
allowed to
Tino.
speak.
You gotta
Hold
let
on,
him
Tino.
finish.
Tino, you
Let him
gotta
get
let me
his
talk.
because a lot
Before
of people
you say,
kept trying to
I
interject,
know
but
what
we
you
gotta let him
say. I
finish.
know. I
Let him
know.
finish.
I was never allowed to talk until the end to make my point. I was always interjected with emotional remarks. Are we here to have a discussion or are you here just to vent? If you want to vent, go to
No,
your
you keep saying
psychiatrist.
bullshit. Keep misrepresenting what I'm doing on this live, and that's annoying. Don't do that. We're not here
I'm
to
not trying
speak
to
truth to power, try to
misrepresent.
get white people to change. We don't give a damn about y'all. Stop saying that.
Okay, you don't give a damn about white people. You're not trying to get them to change. I get that. And kudos to you for that. None of my business. We're here for the 4 questions up top. Let's go back to those 4 questions because I think you're becoming too emotional when I'm just trying to have a discussion. Because maybe I have questions that I want to ask you and you should answer them because I would like to learn. I'm not here to show you my ignorance. Maybe I'm here
You could have learned in the comments. I'm not here to answer your questions. You're
Oh,
here to
I've been
answer
reading the
mine.
comments.
There's 4 of them
I've
right
been,
here. Answer them.
I've been reading the comments. But the way you're arguing with me right now as opposed to the other people is kind of all right, I'm leaving.
Don't leave.
Yo,
You
I
yo,
left.
hold
love
on,
it.
real
I'm
quick, y'all.
entitled to be
Hold on,
here.
brother. So, Mr. Elite, I know you from Black Guru Live, brother. So I'm gonna just put that out there because if I'm not mistaken, I know you from another platform. So
Yeah, yeah.
respect. But yeah, I don't know what that man was doing. I just found problems when him kept saying we need to focus on this. What are you talking about, brother? What do you mean by we?
Yeah, that's what I was saying because I think there was kind of back and forth, and I was like, get him to clarify what he means by the collective. Is he talking about Albanian people? Is he talking about Americans? Is he talking about black people? So I think that's what I was trying to get him to clarify, but I guess we were kind of talking over each other. But go ahead.
He said he was entitled to be here. Then he's gonna come up here and tell us what we need to change the subject to. That is crazy. I cannot imagine going on to an Indian space where Indian people are talking about Indian issues and how certain things affect their communities. And I go up there and say, hey, I'm entitled to be here. You know what? You shouldn't all be talking about this. This is sad. This conversation is sad. You shouldn't be talking about this at all. We all need to stop being Indian and just be pretendians all together, everybody. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, I can't imagine going on anyone else's live and telling them what they should be talking about and telling them I'm entitled to be part of the conversation. That's just ridiculous. It speaks to entitlement. But let's continue. Mr. Elite, and then I'm coming to you, Tino. I know you waiting.
Yeah,
Try to
I
write it
think
down or something, please.
I'll let Tino go before me. I'll go after him. Go ahead, Tino,
Okay.
brother.
All right. Go ahead. Thank you, Mister. Go ahead,
That's
Tino.
respect.
Give us your age, race, and your pronouns, please.
That is respect. 26. African, fully Zimbabwean. And my pronouns just him, I guess. you know, but you know the boy. But anyways, I felt what brother was saying, and this is gonna sound crazy because I think like I had the whole debate in whether black women should continue supporting black men, and in a way he was right about how we're divided. And one of the things that I wanted to leave them off with is we're always arguing about our adult pains, but realistically, we don't really focus on the world that we're building for our children. So when it comes to dating outside of the race, to deny love in a world that's already messed up, like sometimes that's really what you need to even survive. And as someone that was just born in this world, it sucks hearing that you're not good enough because of your skin color, or you're not accepted because you act too white because, you're a brother, you like us, you're supposed to be like us, and yet I can't fit in. How do those people feel? And then we have a lost generation, and I don't want it to be like that. As someone that's younger, we're dealing with generational trauma, and I think what everybody has to do is heal, no matter the race, is heal. Like, take time, step back, because we can name all of these famous black people, right? We just did. We just named the richest, I can't even say it, Musa Mansa, the richest black man in the world, the richest man in existence.
Mansa Musa.
Thank you. I'm not a history buff. But like, we can name all of these people, but at the end of the day, do we know ourselves? Do we know the traumas that we're carrying on to our next bloodline? Because we're going to pass away, but the only thing that's going to stay behind that is that moves way past our lives is our names and what we've done with those names. So I just wanted to leave it off at that. That's where I kind of agree. When he said we, he didn't say we as in, I'm a white person and you're a person of color. He said we as a human. At the end of the day, I mean, if you believe in religion or not, you're human. You are literally, you have skin, you have blood, you have everything that another human characteristics would have outside of the melanin in your skin. And that may be a skeletal structure.
All right. But Tino, what you're
Go
missing
ahead,
here,
brother.
and this is
Go
a
ahead.
common thing. This is the I'm a strong Garveyite. You see the flag behind me. You know what that flag mean?
No, go ahead. Explain it. I
Red,
genuinely
black,
don't.
and green. Pan Africanism. You from the continent. You ever heard of Pan Africanism?
I want to run for president of Zimbabwe. This ain't a good look, bro. This
Oh,
ain't a good look.
really? Pan
Yeah.
Africanism is not a good look in Zimbabwe?
No. The fact that I don't know this is not a good look.
Oh, okay. So yeah, Pan-Africanism means that you and I, although you're from a different ethnicity, different tribe,
Yeah.
you and I are kindred in the sense that we both have a shared
History.
genealogy from the continent of Africa, a
It's our
culture
history.
that goes back to the continent of Africa, and we
Right.
both, have ancestors and ties to the continent of Africa. That's what the green is. The green is the land of Africa. So Anyway,
Go ahead.
what you're talking about makes sense, right? If you were to remove all context. But when you add context, it's a little tone deaf what he was saying. From him.
Of
What
course.
what you're saying is not as tone deaf. But when he says it, it's tone deaf. It's like someone sticks a knife in your back and says we all need to heal.
Well, I mean,
You
I
see what I'm saying?
genuinely.
Well, now technically, we
Go
all
ahead.
do need to heal.
Right, we
But
do.
he's the one that stuck the knife in our back. You understand? So that's the problem.
I get it, but then like, who do you blame? Do you blame the father or do you blame the son? Right? Because the son doesn't know, but the father, he knows everything because he learned that from his father. So if we can get to the son and teach him the way to move, the way to live, and the way to interact with the world, then in a way, that's just gonna make everybody better. And that's the goal, because like, what is the goal of having these conversations? Because we know the hardest thing to do is convince somebody of something else when we already know what we believe in with the
And see, this is
information
what
that
I
we
was saying
have.
about Pan-Africanism. Because
Of
when I
course.
brought up Pan-Africanism, my point was
Go
that
ahead.
I'm an African American
Uh-huh.
and you're an African from the continent.
Mm.
I consider myself an African. I
Mm.
consider you an
Okay.
African.
Okay.
My people have been on the African continent for hundreds of thousands of years,
Okay.
as well as you.
Mhm.
However, they've been in America for about tops 400 years. So that's a drop in the freaking bucket. That does not make me an American. I'm still an African. I'm just on American soil.
I felt that.
That being the case, my superpower as an African American is that I have a knowledge of the oppressor. I know him well. We raised them. We taught them how to wash, how to cook our food. Kentucky Fried Chicken is our food. When you see the white man on the chicken box, they took our food and put a white man's face on it.
No, I agree.
So
Yeah.
what I'm trying to say though
Yo,
is
hold on, y'all, brother.
we
Legend. Can you say that one more time? We told them how to cook our food. Just repeat it one more time for the live, brother. And then you said
well
the white man is on the Kentucky Fried Chicken logo. Say that again, brother. That
right.
was crazy.
They put a white face on the Kentucky Fried Chicken logo. That is our food. So they know because they know how to eat because of us. You understand?
Right.
So we know them.
Right.
However, brothers and sisters on the continent have a different relationship with them. And what we can contribute to the diaspora is our knowledge of the oppressor. And what you can contribute to the diaspora is our knowledge of ourselves, because you still are connected to your roots in ways that we were disconnected by our oppressor.
Of course.
You understand? So we have a mutual exchange of information that we can do. So certain things that may seem harmless on the surface,
Right.
sometimes
Can be
I
harmful.
know is
Right.
harmful because I know the rhetoric from which he is speaking.
And I'm glad you stated that, because I 100% try to go into conversations with that in mind, because again, the person is only as strong as the information that they have as their disposal. So I genuinely do appreciate the grace. I just wanted to state that.
Yeah. I mean, I understand it because we have a different relationship. And I'm not going to speak on you now. I'm just going to speak on brothers and sisters from the continent. Their relationship with many, in many societies on the continent with Europeans has been mostly aid, right? They'll come in and they'll give aid. Aid from the damage that they themselves caused, but aid nonetheless becomes the relationship of the European and the African. So the African starts to look at them as some sort of hero or savior, like, you guys are coming to give us aid. Then they say, you can come to our countries where things are better. Things are better in their country because they've torn yours apart. They've disenfranchised you in your own nations, drawn lines and divided up your continent and taught you that, made you learn their language, made you learn their religion. And now you come to their parts of the world and you look at them like they saved you. They did something honorable. And you
And
don't
I
see
get
it
it.
the same
Yeah.
way we see it, because we know that
Right.
the beef and the patties is made from our ancestors' blood. So
Mm.
we look at it completely different. And I think we starting to see more of it in the Sahel region. What's going on there? More on the continent starting to wake up to how African Americans and those in the diaspora look at the oppressor. But I just think it's just it's something that
Brother, the oppressor is always going to be there. That's the biggest problem, right? And I agree with you because like I was thinking, so my great grandfather, as in my grandfather he was before a vice president. And the reason why Zimbabwe studied as that place of hyperinflation is because of the person that was president, and it was greed. And there always is going to be an oppressor, even within the people that share similar attributes. But I think there has to be a lot more. And the reason why I emphasize healing is because it's time to actually fix the problem, right? We're always discussing on fixing the problem, freeing our people. But then what does that look like to us? And it looks like to me forgiveness. And I say forgiveness for both parties. No,
I'm trying to save you from this. I'm trying to save you from this.
And I get that. And I get that because we have
a
different
damn
viewpoints.
about us. You understand? We are not trying to forgive them.
And we can't forget
we're trying
that.
to go to war with them.
Where you
Let me,
raised? Where you
Brother,
raised
the
at?
thing is,
Are you
go
raised
ahead. Go ahead.
in
Everybody,
Africa? Are you raised in?
go ahead. I talked a lot. Go ahead.
I was, okay, my dad, he used to be
Where
in
they raised you
politics.
at?
My dad used to be in politics in Jamaica, and here's the thing, I can see where you're coming from, being an idealist, wanting to build a better world, right? But the thing is, though, and,
Better
from
world, or
even
I'm
the
going to
stories
build
my
a better
dad,
world. I'm going to do
I'm
something
sorry?
about this. No, I'm going
For
to do
sure,
something about
and,
this for my people.
but,
Because we can talk
yeah,
about this all day.
and
We
the
can talk
thing
about
is,
solutions, but actually doing
yeah,
something and me actually voicing over you, normally I would not do that as a man to a man, right? I would never do that because
but
that's a shame.
the
However,
thing is idealism.
go ahead.
Idealism, yeah, I was just saying that idealism, right? I mean, yes, in an ideal world, just moving on and forgetting about it would be the best option. But the thing is, and speaking to my dad and, him being in politics before and dealing with these people face to face, the thing is, this is not it reminds you every day it's not an ideal world, and you cannot deal with these people idealistically, because if you do, they will destroy you. You can't deal with them that way. Like it's just like that's
Ironically,
just the reality,
the
and they will
system,
never mean you well.
right. The
They
system
won't.
is in place, but, and I spent a lot of time, quote unquote, around, I think people that would be considered like the 1%, ironically. And then even like with my grandfather's heritage, right? I think the people loved him because of the fact that he actually gave them meaningful hope. He actually was the voice of reasoning. And I'm not necessarily stating that to, disregard everyone's pains, because I emphasize towards my brothers and my sisters, the people that are closest to me. I empathize towards that. I see their hardship. Explain to me how you go from, being with your own people where they're closest to you by genetic reference in the ghetto, but then you go hang out with your white friends in the suburbs, and his dad works for the government in a very high position. That's entitlement. And then yet he has the entitlement to say the N-word. I stopped associating myself with him because of the fact that he used that word. And I stated that. I don't even use that word. Again, the reason why, it is a part of my history in music itself. However, for the next generation, I don't want that hate to transcend to them. I don't want that same meaning. And I want him to have an equal chance, because I am tired of working 10 times harder than the people that are the opposite, pigmentally challenged, right? Pigmentally challenged people that are actually advancing in life with no effort because of generational wealth. They also inherited some form of generational trauma. However, my trauma, I believe, is 10 times worse than what they can even handle. Black people are amazing. We do a lot of amazing shit, and we put up with a lot of amazing shit.
Hey, I don't mean to interrupt you.
Legend, I want to go after you, brother. Yeah.
Hold on.
Y'all, you got to mute your mic and wait your turn to speak. But the host is about to say something, and I want to come in after the host to say something to Tino.
Okay.
Legend, go ahead, brother.
Go ahead, speak.
Now, I just got a question for this man Tino, because I've seen him in other panels before. Brother, you said you were born and raised in Zimbabwe, correct?
So I moved here when I was 4. That's why my inflections in my
Sir,
voice
can
may
you
seem.
just answer the? I just got a question again.
So
You were
yes, I
born
grew
in
up
Zimbabwe,
in,
correct?
correct,
Yes
and
or
I
no?
grew up in America, starting from the age of 4.
So you were raised in America, but you were
Correct.
born in Zimbabwe. Do you
That is
travel
correct.
back and forth between America and Zimbabwe?
Ironically, I just went back for the first time in December. It's on my TikTok. I
With that
documented the whole
said,
experience.
yeah, stop. I got you because I was about to tell you stop promoting yourself, but it ain't my place. With that said, in your experience as a Zimbabwe American, I'm gonna put it that way for a reason. Do you see the difference between black people's existence in America compared to black people's experience in Zimbabwe? And what is that difference in your experience? And I'm asking you this for a reason because I want to see where your head is at.
Yeah, of course. I'm glad you asked that question. I've kind of been on the fence with that one. So there is a difference. I will not deny that because I asked a group of African Americans, would you ever go back to Africa to quote unquote
No,
make
no, no, no,
Africa
no,
great
no, no,
again?
no,
And they
no.
said
Can you?
no.
I need you to answer for yourself. You as a Zimbabwean, basically living in America.
Of
What is the
course.
difference between a black man or person's experience in America versus the experience of black people in Africa or Zimbabwe? What's the
Culturally,
difference? And
there
don't
is.
frame or answer the question. I've talked to African American. No, what is from Zimbabwe? Excuse me, from Tino's point of view. I'm about to call him Zimbabwe. From
No,
Tino's
you're
point
good.
of
You're
view,
good.
what is the difference in that? Because I want to see where your head is at. Because I'm trying to understand what your angle is as to how you're responding to these questions or this conversation at
Yeah.
all.
That's
Because you a
that's
walk,
fair.
you a red flag, brother. I'm gonna say that you're a red flag to me. But I want.
That's
Can you
fair.
answer that for me?
That's fair. So the difference that I can see systemically, there are some traces of white influence, for example, or European influence in Zimbabwe, now Chinese. But in the United States, there obviously is more of a systematic oppression that is in place that I necessarily can't experience because my name is Tino versus someone that is named like Shaki, for example, right? If we were looking at two resumes, most likely you're going to look at Tino versus someone that is of Shaki, because again, familiarity brings on that European influence into that, right?
So here's my thing. Go ahead, speak. Were you gonna say something else?
Go ahead, legend. I'm gonna
I
come in
think
after you, and
as
then I'm gonna
clear
let
as I can
somebody
get.
else jump in because I can't, bro.
All
I'm
right.
trying
So
to
here's my
breathe, but
thing.
I can't with this man. I don't
I'm
understand what's
sorry.
going on.
I
But
genuinely
you
am
go on the
sorry that
panels and you do this a lot. But I'm just trying to understand your
right.
consciousness. But go ahead, legend, because I don't get it.
So
I really don't. I
believe it or
don't
not,
understand.
in the construct of race, there's a inherent innocence implied with the term white. Whiteness is seen as innocent, pure. You can look up the definition of white in a dictionary. It'll have innocent, pure, without blemish, spot or wrinkle, things like that. Whiteness and how white people are treated is usually innocent till proven guilty. Um, it doesn't work that way for many black people. We're usually guilty till proven innocent, especially in the court of law.
Right.
And
Agreed.
so when we're dismantling racism and more importantly, when we're unifying and empowering our own communities, we cannot be so quick to use that they're innocent until they prove to us they're guilty mindset, that idealism, because that is what they taught us to think of them as, is innocent until proven guilty. Only when we're talking about building our people and when we're talking about dismantling racism, we must have the common sense to look at them as guilty until proven innocent.
Can I
When
ask you a
people,
genuine question, brother? Because, and again, this hopefully will resolve the conflict. But me, as a younger black man, because younger people are more impressionable, how do I communicate that to my white counterparts so then that we can do better and in a way
this is what I'm
rewrite
trying to
history?
say.
Nah,
And this is no,
Rewrite
hold
history.
on. Hopefully he can learn from this.
nah.
Hold on, speak. Hopefully he can learn from this. So when it comes to race, I'm teaching you from my ancestors, like I said, been here for 400 years. I went to all white schools. Okay, I grew up. I wasn't.
Okay.
I grew up here. My father grew up here. His father grew up here. We know these people. Okay, we know their culture. Their culture is our culture. Like I said about the Kentucky Fried Chicken. So to them, you are not part of we. You are not part of us. If you need a book, read the compensatory counter-racist code by Dr. Neely Fuller. Write this down. Dr. Neely Fuller, Neelyfuller. Read the ISIS Papers by Dr. Francis Cress Welsing. Welsing is spelled Welsing. Dr. Francis Cress Welsing. And most importantly, if you want to understand racism and how it works, both of those books are very important. That's just the groundwork. But if you really want to get deep, Dr. Frank Wilderson, Afro-Pessimism, so that you can understand that they don't see you as part of their we. They don't even see you entirely as part of a man. We could talk about that another time. But when you're talking about how can we come together and fix them or fix what's wrong with them in their societies, that is up to them. We can't fix that. All we can do is...
They don't want to be fixed.
At all, because they benefit from it being broken. So they want for us, I mean, not them. I'm talking about the authors that wrote that book, the scholars, the black people that did the work, want for us to come together and have what's called the selfishness necessary for survival and stop trying to look at them as innocent and there's a way we can get them to work. No, we got to work with each other. It starts with Zimbabwe. Look at Zimbabwe, for example. Zimbabwe has sanctions on it. And look at how that's affecting Zimbabwe.
And I agree.
You know about the sanctions?
Correct. So beyond the sanctions, I also wanted to emphasize that the U.S. necessarily isn't like a heavy regulator within the sanctions, but it's predominantly the European Union. So the EU is the ones that make it very hard for any Zimbabwean to do anything. So like speaking on that, like what are we aiming for? You know, like
we're not aiming to work better.
No, but what is equality, or what is like?
All right,
what does that look like
equality?
to you?
That's what I'm saying. You keep going towards anti-racism.
But then, like, what are we aiming towards? Because I understand that we're marginalized.
Stop going to anti-racism for our answer. Anti-racism will get us from -100 to 0.
Right.
Anti-racism is a zero-sum game. Equality is a zero-sum game. You know what zero-sum game means? It just means we're working to get to 0. Pro-blackness is 0 to 100. That's what we need to be focused on. We need to be focused on screw Zimbabwe getting those sanctions lifted. Let's work on the African continent and gain control of our resources there so that we can have African institutions like banks, universities,
I agree with that. Trust me.
And you see what I'm saying? A black military, 100%. An African military that American police are scared to do something to us because they're afraid that there might be military intervention from a nuclear power in Africa. You see what I'm saying?
But hear me out, brother. That involves influence.
Tino, hold on. Tino, can I say something to you? Hold on. Can I say something to you?
Of course.
Just by way of you being on this panel, it sounds to me like you are okay being in proximities to those people. It sounds to me like you have the mindset as if you want to be one of them people and you're cosplaying being part of the community. I understand you are Zimbabwean. Yes, you were born over there, raised in this country. But your talking points, your responses, your questions seems like you are protecting them people, or you have this angle where you want to include them in the fight for black people or the community in this country. The experiences of the U.S. black person versus an African in Africa is not the same. There is shit going on in Africa. They dealing with their own issues and plight. Let me put it that way. We in America as black people, our experiences is what it is because we live in those people's in a country where they set up for us to not be who we are. Africans in the U.S. lost their culture. They don't know the language. They think they're African American. They consider a culture to be who they are, black. You're African. You're blind to some of these people who have not done
I
their
am.
genealogy.
I
So the
am.
reason I
I
asked you your
agree.
question is, sir, what is your point in coming up here saying things to include YT people in the conversation? They don't give a damn about us. They do not care. And to what Legend is saying, and I articulate myself a certain way because I don't give a damn. I'm from New York, but at the end of the day, they do not care about us.
So
They can be anti-racist, yes, but they can't be pro-black. Stop doing this thing as black people where you go into conversations and you talk about unity and you're trying to include those people in that conversation. We're talking about black people all in all, bruh. You got to
listen,
be mindful of how you come into these spaces,
I
Tino,
know.
and
I
what
know.
you're saying.
I'm
You
sorry.
sound delusional.
I'm
You
sorry.
triggering me.
I'm
You're
sorry.
triggering me by way of how you're talking, yet you're an African.
Let me tell
Listen,
you why you're triggering them.
You're an
Because
I
African. So
I
let me
know.
tell them.
I'm
I get it.
confused.
Let
I
me
knew it
tell
was
them
going to be
So I'm a
triggered
mute
as soon as I came on. I
real quick.
knew. I
Hold
knew.
on, y'all. Y'all
Go
know
ahead.
how I talk.
Go ahead.
I'm a mute. But
Well, I was
y'all
gonna
get the
say.
likes up. But I want to understand what's going
Like
on with
that.
this man and what he's doing up here, or if he's being a chaos agent or a troll on purpose. Because, brother, you're African. You're losing me.
And I get that.
You should have
So
came up here and taught me something. I
I
lost
can.
brain cells with
I
you coming
can.
up here.
And the funny thing is, I actually
I'm a
studied
mute.
at an Ivy League, so I won't necessarily tie in anything to that. I'm not an idiot, so I can 100% state that this is a very articulate and
All right, there
very
you go. All right, man. Hey, shout out to everybody that's in Panther Pro. I was trying to educate them.
I was about
I'm
to
not
ask.
mad at you, Tino.
For someone
You
who
did
has
a little bar.
aspirations as a president of a country is very naive.
I
Yeah.
mean, like,
Yeah, bro.
and the
I be
crazy thing
trying,
is,
bro. I
I
be
was
really
about to
trying to hold
ask
it
him.
down, champ.
I was about
I'll
to
be
ask
really
him
trying to
about
hold it down up
Mugabe.
here, but these people
I,
give me a
I was
headache,
about to
man.
ask him about
Y'all go
Mugabe.
ahead, man. I'm gonna shut the
He
hell up. I
from
be trying.
Zimbabwe,
I be
man.
trying.
He from Zimbabwe. I was about to ask him about Mugabe. If Mugabe heard the way you're speaking right now, he will roll up in his grave. Do you know what Mugabe do to these white people? Do you know what Mugabe do to white people? Oh my, he gotta go.
Get
Yeah,
them
yeah,
up out of
man.
there.
Oh my goodness, I can't even believe that, man. It's crazy.
Yeah. Somebody say throw him in a dungeon.
Like, honestly, he seems like the type of guy to walk into a lion's den and try and go hug the lion and reason with him. He's walking a very dangerous path, and he doesn't know what danger. Like, he doesn't seem to know what danger is when he sees it. Like, I know if he was in a horror movie, he'd be one of
He
the guys
grew
that
up in
dies first.
America. He grew up in America. He grew up obviously with the YT community. You can see by the way he speak. You know, he probably just grew up, and he just said the first time he went back was December to visit his own country. So he's not basically he's one of those that will grow up over here, don't know anything about his own country. If he obviously know what his country been through, like I would say, Mugabe alone would teach him all these lessons he learned. Mugabe went to UK, bought a land there just to buy a land there to give it to his people. Just because he all the land that he took from the white people, soon as he died, the next president gave it back to them. Mugabe was, man, y'all gotta go look up Mugabe, man. He was one of those, president,
They
man.
were in discussions, but it never happened yet, though. It
Man,
never
it's
happened.
crazy. I don't know what's going on over there, but if Mugabe was there, none of that would be happening. Even though he speak for Africa, he was dealing with the white people. Just for him to come on this platform and speaking like that, it just like it make an African look bad.
Yeah.
Don't claim to be Zimbabwean. Claim to be American-born African or something, because it don't look good on Africans. It's not looking
Just
good.
say it. Yeah, I just want to say this and speak. Respect. Honestly speaking, for me, anytime I hear an African or anybody that's not U.S. American or Black American on a panel, and they come into these kind of lives, I actually want to hear what they got to say, because I know their experiences, even if they don't live here, is different. So
Yeah.
a Jamaican, like I'm mutuals with a couple Jamaicans and shit like that, and people in Africa too. It's like, yo, what's going on out there? But the way y'all see things over there, wherever you at, when you come into these panels, what do you have to say that's actually either expanding people's mind, or are you cosplaying being European, or you confused basically. So yeah, I'm a little bothered by his stances on shit, but I've seen him in other spaces. He do got a lot to say. Like he a smart young brother, this Tino dude. But you did bad up here, chat. And before the next person go, let's get the likes to 100,000 in the next 45 minutes or so. If you're gonna be here that long, legend, it's 300 plus people in here. If y'all all tap super fast and fill up that red bar in the corner, we can get to 100K likes. Share the live with 10 people. Gift the brother, gift the panel, and I'm gonna shut the hell up now because we got D Diva in the house up there. I see you, girl, the
We
Diva.
in
I
the
see you,
house.
Miss Lady. She about to come in here and regulate this shit. I ain't gotta say nothing else no more. The sister is here to save the goddamn day. Goddamn it.
Appreciate you, speak. What's
I'm
good, D?
vulnerable and I'm weak. I cannot help.
Always a pleasure to have you here, D. I'm gonna go to this next guest real quick. Oya, could you give us your age, race, and pronouns?
Yeah, I'm oh yeah, you got it right. 55, race is black, and pronouns he, him. Yeah, I'm sorry, brother legend and speak. Didn't mean to speak out of turn,
You good?
but my man did trigger me
You good, man.
also
You good.
when he said that. When he said white people had generational trauma, it triggered me, and that kind of let me know where he was coming from because, if anything, they have generational guilt. Fuck trauma. They put us through the trauma. You know what I mean? They've done everything imaginable to black and indigenous Indian people on this land. And it's just everybody knows the history that's from here. So he triggered me with that. And it just seemed like he was a simp for them when he said that. That's why I unmuted. But to
I
go
heard
with
that.
your topic, is it racist to only date your race? No, in this country, I believe sometimes that we need to stick to our own. Now, I do believe love is love. You can't predict who you fall in love with. There's a few YT people that are married into my family, and I treat them just as well as I would treat anybody.
As
Um,
we've
my
always done.
my problem is when um, people of our complexion only date outside their race. Only so what is wrong with your mentality that you only see beauty in a YT person or any other race? Something is a self hatred when you do that. And that's just how I view it. If you can only see beauty in like a woman of another race, something's wrong with you. And then our gender wars anti-black, I believe, is just like gender wars is just like trying to get us to hate Mexicans, or hate immigrants. It's moving the ball something so we can be distracted and not look at the white supremacists who are controlling us all and causing the unaliveness of black people and just basically abusing us like they did within slavery, but just in different ways. So to try to get us to focus on gender wars is nothing but a distraction.
Yeah.
So I don't feed into that.
Hmm.
Can black and white YT people or cultures fully what was that fully coexist.
Oh,
Yeah, we can coexist as long as we destroy white supremacy. This is a problem because they want us to forget about the system that has been built for since we've been brought to this land. They want us to forget about it, and they just don't want to do anything about the disparities within our system, like the prison system, like the financial institutions. They want us to forget it. But if we dismantle YT supremacy, we can definitely coexist. But I don't know how many hundreds of years that's going to happen. Um, and can non-black people be pro-black? Is I think somebody said it earlier. You know, they can understand what we're going through. You know, they can um, help in white supremacy, but you know, it's kind of idiotic to say they're pro-black. So, you know, that's just like that gentleman. Um, Tino speaking upon their trauma. You know, it's kind of idiotic. You know, understanding our pain, yes, they can do that. Trying to end white supremacy, yes, they can do that. But you know, being pro-black, well, I don't really get how they can be that.
Yeah, I
I
heard
really
that.
wanted to address him on that because they have anything but they have trauma and guilt, if anything. You know, that's why they don't want the history being taught in our schools at this time. Because if you teach the correct history, they'll say it all the time. Why you want our kids to feel bad? We don't want you to feel bad. We just don't want you to recognize what happened in the past and not to do it again. But they're doing it. They're trying to do it. You know, they're moving forward with a lot of things. Trying to take our vote away. You know, trying to install white supremacists back in the office, trying to
Mm-hmm.
make sure this white supremacist doesn't get tried in our court system, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So, but you know, I always appreciate when I happen upon your live, man. I like what you do.
Thank you, brother. And nah, you spitting facts, man. Part of what he was saying, I feel like it triggers us because going back to our ancestors, there were those in our group that didn't see white tea folks as such a problem and kind of tried to. I'll tell you the story. So you know the word. You might already know this. A lot of y'all probably already know this, but you know where the word COON comes from?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
So
not exactly where it comes from, but go ahead.
yeah. So there was on the shores of Africa or if you watch Woman King, you'll see it. But on the shores of Africa, when they were going to put us in auction to sell us off, they would put us in a cage. And that cage would be called a barracoon. And so when you're in the barracoon, there would be those that are afraid and scared of what's going to happen when they go to the new world, and they're nervous and they're like crying, and they don't know what's going to happen when they don't know what in the world is waiting for them on this boat. And then you would always have those that in the cage or the barracoon that would tell the other Africans, hey guys, hey, it's okay. It's okay. Everything's going to be okay. When we get there, everything is going to be fine. It's a new world. We're going to be all right. And that's the cognitive dissonance that we associate with the word coon, because they're not like, they see what's going on, but their mouth is saying something different. And so,
Hey, could I?
Basically, you black, let's conform. Let's just get with the program. It's fine.
right.
I never heard. I didn't understand. I didn't know that before. That's crazy.
Yeah, so
It's
that
Well,
okay.
triggered.
Let's just conform and pretend like everything is fine. Let's just do what they say. Let's not do nothing. Let's just lose everything. Fuck it.
Yeah. And
So we
so,
can
Let make a
survive.
boss of
Basically,
you. Let
to
make a boss of you.
survive, let's just be with the program. Basically,
yeah.
that's
yeah.
crazy.
And
Yeah.
so
That's crazy.
your ancestors' DNA in you activates epigenetics. Y'all can look it up. They've done this research on us here in America, especially. We're triggered by the same things that triggered our ancestors. They've done this test on lab rats. They've done it on, primates, and they've studied our DNA as humans. And what triggers our ancestors triggers us. So these people, these barracoons, were dangerous to our ancestors. So of course, it still triggers us today as African Americans. He might not be triggered the same way because his
Hmm.
ancestors might not have ever been in a barracoon. He's from the continent. You got to remember, his parents chose to come to the plantation. You understand? His parents, our ancestors, at no point in history chose to come to this plantation. We
Exactly.
were brought here against our will. His ancestors, his parents or whatever, chose to come here to this plantation. Now, there's two types of African immigrants that choose to come to the plantation. Some of them understand that this is a plantation, no different than what they left, but maybe the immediate conditions are a little bit better. And so they understand that they're not going to be brainwashed into the system. And then there's those that actually believe the American values. You see the way he was speaking, he wasn't code switching enough. That should have let you know that he already internalized the value system and the
Brainwashed.
speak. You see what
Hmm.
I'm saying? So that's the thing. And this is what Tariq Nasheed talks about, but he does it with a lot of xenophobia. And that's a problem with the foundational Black American thing. But there are those that have been compromised, and it's evident because the people, the brothers and sisters on the continent, are not the same. They don't think the same as the brothers and sisters that got on a plane to join us in the plantation. So, that's the thing.
All I can say is if he does really succeed in becoming the president of Zimbabwe as he aspires to, that country's gonna be recolonized. I hope it doesn't happen.
Yeah,
He
yeah,
can't.
well,
He shouldn't. He should. And you know what? He said his grandfather was a former vice president, which means there's probably an okay chance. Yeah, he did. His grandfather was a former vice president. So I
He's
really,
probably in training. He's in
huh?
yeah, he
training. I
said that.
mean,
Yeah,
he's in
I just
training.
hope. I hope
That's why
and
he was born
pray
here.
that.
He was literally raised. He was raised here. That's how they
Yeah,
Yeah,
do it. Like
and he said
they
because
come and raise pretty
yeah,
much
because he's
all the all those African leaders right now. They are Masons. Most of them are Masonry. They practice in the Brotherhood. They come get their education in the West. In the Western country. Those are the
yeah,
product.
you
This
because
guy
know,
that's
he
speaking.
said he
These
went to an
are
so
pretty
Ivy
much
League
those
school,
are
I
the
think
product.
too.
Those are the ones that say yes
Yeah,
to
he
the
did.
white tea.
yeah, he did say that.
He said he went to an
He
American
proud of
Ivy
that.
League school. So I'm
He
like,
sounds
I
like
hope
Yeah, he
Tinubu.
did say that. He did say
Sound
that.
like Tinubu or
to
Gabon.
new right
What's the
and
Gabon? Bongo, Ali Bongo.
and the
One
one
thing,
Tinubu, he narrowly. I think they're actually still like the courts are still trying to get him because they were saying that his documents were forged, and they
Yeah.
said that if they find it out that they were forged, he could get impeached. I hope it. I hope they figure it out. I don't know. Whatever
No,
they do,
I
they
think
need to
they.
get
I think they.
Tinubu out.
Yeah, I think they verified it. I
The
gotta look at
West
the
is
story
trying to
again.
cover it.
They're covering it up. I don't think he got the.
West
I
is
don't think
struggling
he
to
graduated.
cover it because he's the puppet.
Yeah.
one thing that's definitely true about what you were saying about the Pan African movement is I haven't believed this until I was maybe 45. We do need to completely separate, and it just hit me one time. Watching old movie, I'm going to get you, sucker. You know, and I think it's Clarence Williams the third. He did a part, when he was going to get help, and he goes to him. He said, "What happened? We went to storm the building, and the brothers came out with jobs. You know, they took them that money and sold out the movement. So what happens is a lot of times within our country, people get a little bit of success financially, and they forget about the struggle that everyday people have. They might even get elected in the office, and they forget what they went through. Just like Clarence Thomas, they forget. So the trying to integrate with white supremacy is never going to help us. We definitely got to build our communities back, separate. Even if we stay in the states, we separate.
Yeah.
I mean, we're the biggest drivers in this country.
Right.
To all the fashion, to everything. So if we start buying black and being black and staying black and sending our money back to black nations who are strong, we
I
can
think that's.
end. This is part of the way we can end white supremacy too.
I think that's what's about to
Separate.
happen. I think that's what's
Yeah.
about to happen.
Yeah, we
We
get
in
that.
America, we make up 45 million people in America, Black Americans, African Americans, and our GDP, the amount, our purchasing power every year is $3 trillion. 3 trillion. That's more than Egypt, Nigeria, all
Hmm.
of them GDP. Like we got bread to spend. If we could do as you said, brother, have our own communities and spend some of that money in Africa's direction, where Africa can take
Yeah.
that resource, take that wealth that we're throwing at them, and get control of their governments and their resources and not have to rely so much on the West, that's one way. But you know, a lot of us here are so brainwashed that we're going to, how can we do it? You know what I'm saying? I hope that we can do it, but the only thing that's ever unified us is oppression. Things would have to get a lot worse.
I
Yep.
think, I think, I think. Let me just say this real quick. I think because we have a government that is being compromised, especially in Africa, which is not facilitating this process. Because I believe if we don't have compromised government, this process would have been facilitated ever since. But all I can suggest that most African Americans should at least try and get the lands, because it's very important. The lands are cheap and you have to pay nothing. You just have to pay the land fees. So you just need to get the lands and as much as you can in your homeland, because time will come that everybody want to get the land. Chinese who want to get the land, European want to get the land, and you'll be looking for lands. You won't see any. But if you have the money, you can invest it on lands.
Yeah.
For now, at least.
Right. And that's the best thing we can do, because spending money on Africa, it will come back. Spending money on Chinese food and Asian gas stations we're never going to see that money again. Spending money on Africa is going to get us something in return. And I think that's what I try to promote, is not only that separation, but focusing on the diaspora. If we can empower each other across the diaspora, we now have phones, we have internet, we can talk to each other. This is our ancestors' wildest dreams. They left Africa, they left the shores of Africa, thought it was the point of no return, didn't know when the next time they speak to another African would be. And now we sitting here on a panel and we got Africans right here talking with us. So we can do it. It's just,
y'all gotta come back and get your land, man. It's like, we can't say that enough. Like, that's the only thing that irk my heart when I see all these other nations. The Asians are coming over there, actually building their own hospitals and doing things in our own continent that they're not even, when they come over there, they're not hiring none of the native, not the indigenous people. They're bringing their own people to come work in our own country. Like, they are, bro, like, y'all understand what's going on, man. We need y'all, brothers and sisters, to come get your land. Y'all don't even have to come back home and stay. Buy the land. You know, the land means wealth. That's where wealth and your power is in your land. You know, over here in the state, you don't know, in the West, you can't purchase the land, because you still gotta, pay your property taxes. Once you can purchase your property taxes, you can pay that. They can take that from you. Anything on that land is belong to them. That's not how it is in Africa. That's what they're not telling you. They will take everything from you. As soon as you can't pay the property taxes, they will take it from you.
Coffee. It's even worse. It's even worse. We have home owners associations here. So your homeowners association can sell your house if they don't like the color of your blind, and for no reason. They can sell it without even telling you. And then you got, even if you pay your mortgage, you pay it off your house. Let's say you own your whole house and you pay your taxes on time every day. They can say, you know what? We don't like how tall you cut your grass. We're going to sell your house. So
You're joking.
Yeah, no, you can't own land. John Oliver. Do you know who John Oliver is? African advice.
Yeah.
John Oliver. Look up John Oliver, HOA. He breaks it down. John Oliver.
But to think that they can get together and sell your house because they don't like the color of your blinds?
Oh yeah, that's real. In Texas especially.
Childish Gambino, this is America, literally how this country works. That's not surprising to us, but yeah, that's the reality for the people that don't know.
And they didn't exist. Homeowners associations didn't exist until we started integrating the neighborhoods, and they didn't want black people to move in and bring down the value of the homes in the area, because white people with money are not going to want to move in next to black neighbors. So they said, let's all get together and create a homeowners association, a club, where we can control who's if the value of your house is going to get brought down because your grass is too tall, then we can tell you, hey, you get a strike for that. You have to cut your grass, or we don't like the color of your blinds. Look up, and so it started with racism, and now today it is it's screwing over white people too. But yeah, you
Yeah.
can lose your house. They can sell your house without your knowledge. You could just
So
one day just knock knock. Hey, I
there,
want your house.
did you
Every
ever
time I
hear the trick?
All right, so hold on, y'all. Can y'all pause real
oh,
quick? Everybody pause. I just want to say something real quick that I'm gonna drop. Brother, how many people you got waiting in the queue?
None right now.
All right,
Yeah,
so
none right now.
yeah, so the way this conversation is that what a live is at right now, the live stream. This is why I support you from the jump. So when I started doing lives or just got on this panel on this page specifically, I saw you for a while hosting your lives. And I didn't understand the debate space, right? I didn't understand that some people would have certain panels or live streams intentionally to get other people to wake the fuck up or to point out people's racism. Because there's two splits to how this can actually work.
Yeah.
I watched you for a while, then I eventually followed you through this page, and then I'm not your mod. Like I said earlier, you're a unicorn in terms of what you do on this platform. 1% of people on this platform as black people or whatever title you want to claim, but you're a melanated man, you're a unicorn on this app. Real quick, make sure every time y'all come in here, this man gets to over 100,000 likes. Every live, he's over 100,000. Because like I repeated before, the more likes, it helps out the live stream or the live host. And anytime he goes live, let's say if he was to get 150 every time, if you see where it says daily rankings, let's say he was to get 500,000 likes, you will be number one on the ranking list. No matter what your live is about, the more engagement you get from the likes, especially, and gifts. That's why for me, I keep saying gift them, gift them, gift them. The more diamonds or gifts, you go up in the rankings.
Okay.
So when y'all tapping the screen and you gifting him, it helps his platform. I'm sure Legend ain't doing this for money because he been doing this for a minute, and I'm sure you was doing this way before I found out about you.
Yeah.
So people, get these likes up. Literally gift them. Go, you see this little gift on the bottom right? Press that. Go through the list, whatever you got to send them, gift them. The more likes and gifts, it helps him out as a host. Keep doing your thing, brother. I appreciate the fact
Hey,
that
man,
I
I
follow
appreciate
you and I
that.
support you, that I'm your mod, and I'm gonna keep referring people to your platform, even when you're not even when they talking about where can I find other spaces like this. Speak. Look up Brother Legend.
Same
Go
here, man.
look him up in the search bar. He got 2 pages. You gonna find him. Look up his lives, and I'm pretty sure the conversation they want to have when I'm in other spaces, they're gonna find you and they're gonna follow you because we see what you're doing and we appreciate you. Black
Well, I
man to
appreciate
black
you.
man, I appreciate you. Keep doing your thing. Y'all keep liking the live. When that conversation you gonna have with Meech Us, I think the name is, in terms of having the fellas up here talking about the police, all that shit, I'm
Facts.
gonna be here. I'm
All
gonna
right.
definitely be here. So,
Yeah,
brother, keep
definitely.
doing your thing. Keep getting these likes up, y'all. Gift this man shit alive. And I'm out of here, man. Y'all have a good one, man. I was a little hot up here because you know how I talk. I be getting
Yeah.
crazy sometimes, but it's all with good intention, man. I just want to
Yes,
snap
sir.
on people to wake them the fuck up, bro. That's all that is in terms of what
Yeah.
I do. But y'all be
Right.
easy. Y'all have a good one. Enjoy y'all Saturday, and I'm gonna catch y'all another time.
All right. Salute, King.
All
Appreciate
right,
you.
bro.
All right. I'm gonna bring up one more person. I'm keep tapping like y'all. Let's do like you said. Get over 100. Oh, Tino wants to come back up. This is gonna be interesting.
Yeah, I'm back.
What's up?
Nah, brother. I just want to state that, yeah, sure, our opinions may differ. I will sit down and at least, again, consider my thoughts and what you guys have stated and come to more of a conclusion because I necessarily didn't really have, I don't believe, handle this conversation as well as I could. So I want to apologize at least on that part. I didn't come prepared with information. For example, I didn't even know the flag behind your head. Um, so I at least appreciate you guys having the talk as long as you did. Again, with an opposing viewpoint. That's
Okay. Yeah. Well, no, I appreciate you as well. Coming up, I was hoping to, maybe have a productive dialogue. I feel like we had that. I feel like the viewers gained some value from it as well. It was just very triggering for a lot of brothers and sisters. So that's
Of course.
that's what the Panther Paw rule is for. When people get triggered, I'm not on this live to sit here and trigger people, because triggering people gets a lot of responses. If I come up here right now and start calling women out their name, black women out their name, and saying certain things, you'll see these views go way up. If we start arguing and yelling right now, you'll see these views go way up. And I'm not here to trigger nobody. So if people feel triggered, I tell them to send their Panther Paws to make it a democracy.
Right.
Bro, legend. Let me just tell you something real quick. People like Tino, is the people I was telling you about, that they are not really aware of what is going on. Okay, they are lost in the oppression. They don't know what is going behind closed doors. They only see what they see physically and what they're being told. They don't know what is agenda. They don't know what is self-agenda, or what is anything that can speak against them. So they don't understand that. So if you see people like this, I don't think we should try to condemn them, because most of them are ignorant of the agenda towards black people and how it's being suppressed. So they are not aware of all these things. It's just to enlighten them and educate them on what is really happening, so they will see reasons. Because I believe that this dude right now, he probably has been told some things that he hasn't heard before, and that is why he's trying to maybe see thought. Not everyone knows, not every black person knows what's going on. Majority of black people around the world don't know that there's an agenda against the black race, against the black people, and he has been on since. They don't know that. They just think maybe the black man is beefing with the white man, the white is beefing with the black. They just think that's what's going on.
Yeah.
So people like that, so many of Tinos that need to be educated and told them what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
How old are you?
Me?
Speaking.
That was Kesh. I'm in my early 30s.
Oh, did he comment?
I'm not sure.
Tino, I got. Tino, you say you from Zimbabwe, man. You surprising me. And the message, and down there, they say we should make ally with you, because you're gonna be the future president, right? That's what I really want to touch on. You got to do research. You got to, you know who Mugabe is. Do you know who Mugabe is?
Yeah, and if you look up the
Do you
vice
know
president during his era, that was my grandfather.
Yeah, I understand that. But
Right.
if you
Yeah, he
know
was
who
a corrupt
Mugabe
man.
is, you
Right.
didn't know about this flag behind, Brother Legend.
Right. No,
You understand? If you didn't know who Mugabe is, you don't know. I mean, you say you do know. You do.
I just don't
You do
represent.
know about Mugabe, but the way you speaking, I get it. I mean, I don't want to get cut off. I mean, my network is not. I'm upstairs right now, so I'm having bad network. But yeah. If you know Mugabe, you gotta go back and do some more research how he dealt with the YT people, just how he dealt with them. He set a great example for African, just like us, the way he dealt with YT people. But he's coming from Zimbabwe, and the way you would speak on the panel, it didn't sound. It was triggering. It was me myself. I'm an African also. I was born and raised in West Africa. I came to this country when I was young also. I've been here for 21 years. I came when I was 14 years old, but I have ties with back home. I was going back and forth to realize, my people, we need help all over all over across the board. So some of us is supposed to be a bridge. We got to be the bridge, right? For our brothers and sisters to walk across to get to Africa. Right, it had to be the bridge. We like the keys. We got to go home and open those doors for our brothers and sisters, because we grew up in this country just like most of them. Like I've been here for 21 years. That means there's 21 years old, a black male right now that I can teach both about America and also Africa. You understand? That's what that means. Me being here for that long and understand
Right.
the West, also understand the culture back home. We have to break those, bridges so our brothers and sisters come home. We can't sit here and say anything has to do with white people. We don't hate them, but we don't have nothing to do with them because we gotta make sure our home, we gotta get our house in order. Back home, we got so much issue back home right now. We trying to
Right.
get them out of there. We trying to
Right.
we trying to rise now. We've been
Well,
sleeping for so long.
that
We've
would.
been sleeping for so long. We just not
Uh-huh.
rising. You understand? So we got to take care of ourselves first.
Right. No, I agree. With what you're stating. It's just there's just so much complexity to the world now. If you kind of, really quantify everything from the point of, the invention of the internet to this point in specific time, right? 2023. Within the last 2 years, we've produced more data and information in those last 2 years than that point of 2023 to the beginning of the invention of the internet. Like those two are if that didn't make sense, then I can re-explain. But the amount of data that we have in the world, the amount of information, is more than a single person can handle. Yet we don't even understand how our minds work, which is the size of our hand. Right, the most complex thing known in the universe is something that can fit into our hand, and yet we're discussing something so ambiguous. You have to really look at it in a logical and a very thoughtful sense.
What?
And what's up?
See,
Go ahead,
this
love.
stuff be getting me with some of y'all, boy. Y'all be getting brainwashed.
Brainwashed by
The
what?
correlation. Okay, so you said something that I had to laugh at earlier when you said you went to an Ivy League. So what does that mean?
Well, that means that I am specialized in some shape and form in a specific area, and that does not associate with humanity. But I was just stating
Dude,
that I wasn't.
dude,
Did you
I
Tino,
get
wasn't.
in?
Tino,
Hold on,
Tino.
hold
I
on,
wasn't
hold
Is
able
on,
your
to.
y'all. Did you
That's
get
is your
in
all I'm
based
family
on
stating.
business
affirmative
class or
action,
political class?
or did you
How do
get
your
in
family?
based on talent?
Wait, hold on. Let D speak. Let D speak. Don't speak over the sister.
I couldn't even hear anybody that was saying anything.
Okay, so again, like what does that imply? What does that entail to people? You don't know us, we don't know you. You don't know where any of us went to school.
Right. Because like I'm going through these comments, and a lot of people
Mhm.
have been disregarding my input, as it was
Do
something
you
that
feel
was
like
completely
there's a lack of
irrelevant and not
intellect on
making.
the panel, or did you feel like there was a lack of intellect on the panel, or did you feel like you were going to flex and say you went
No,
to an
no,
Ivy
no. The
League with a bunch
intellect
of
actually.
YC people at a
I
whole institution that was built by Black African
Right.
American slaves? What was the flex?
So it wasn't necessarily a flex, but again, it was just to show a moment of competence because at the same time, I feel like I'm not being heard because I empathize towards the other opposing
Are you
point.
hearing? I think you
I
have a
am.
lack of hearing because your education doesn't match the empathy or understanding.
It doesn't, but an education in general does state a foundation
Yeah, you can be a
in a
smart
specific
idiot.
area. But I'm not saying I know
You can be
this
a
very
smart
well.
fool.
That's it. That's all I'm
You can be a
stating.
smart fool.
But
Anybody can
I'm
be a
saying I'm
smart dummy.
competent. So teach me in a way, but also
I'm
I
not
can
gonna,
keep
sir.
up.
Listen. You
Go ahead,
already
love.
know everything. That's what the implication was. You actually spoke as if you knew everything. So
I
if
do
you
not.
don't know, don't you think it would be more wise for you not to insult the people that you need to learn from?
Well,
And I can learn from
go
a
ahead, love.
poor man. I can learn from a rich man. I
Of
can learn from a
course.
dumb man. Like there is no one that you cannot learn from.
But then
But
when he brought
it was
up the
the implication
background,
of you
I
saying
stated
that
that
you're
I
so
did not know
intelligent.
what that represented. I state what I don't know and what I do know. And again, what I do know is only based off of the information that was provided to me. And I'm not a perfect human. No one is a perfect human.
No one said they were, but
Right,
that's the part that
right.
you're missing. It was
No,
the
no, I'm
need
not. But
to
I'm not
shit
stating that
on someone
though.
else, sir. You went out of your way to try to down people as if they aren't intelligent as you, because you sat around a bunch of white uppity people that really probably got in because they paid their way. They probably didn't even fight as hard as you to get in the space they were in to receive their education. They probably paid their way in. Their great granddad went there, so they were a legacy and didn't even have to have the grades to enter that institution.
So, for example, right? I hear you and I apologize. Maybe it was just the way that I phrased it, but I could have just said, "Hey, I just went to college." And we could have just kept it as simple as that, right? So I apologize if I sounded very condescending, which wasn't my point. And I think it's just more respectful to leave it at that.
But that's what you feel. I didn't say I felt that way. So I'm gonna talk about whatever the hell I want to talk about. You didn't came and flexed in the wrong space.
Well, no. It's not necessarily. It's not necessarily trying to flex. It's just that I think everybody and even my own viewpoints are just
Can I
so
tell you
far.
something?
Go ahead,
Sorry
love.
don't mean shit to me. Actions mean everything. Anybody can say they're sorry.
Well,
so at the end of the
I'm
day,
proving my
let's talk about.
actions.
Okay, so you said you're from what part of Africa? Because I wasn't here for the whole conversation.
No, that's fair. Zimbabwe.
Okay, so do you feel like it's more important for you to go over there and actually fix the issues that are happening to those African people than it is to come and be verbal about the people that you don't even understand the history or the context of what they're going through here? Even though you came and you were able to benefit from it from the 1964 to 1965 Civil Rights Act bill?
That is correct, but however, that still mitigates the fact that I was raised here, which wasn't necessarily my inherent choice.
But you would never have been here if it wasn't for that bill that brought your parents here, right?
Repeat the question, please.
You would never be here if it wasn't for your parents bringing you here, right?
When it does come to that inherent choice, correct.
It doesn't have to come to an inherent choice. I'm asking you a question. If it wasn't for the 1964 to 1965 Civil Rights bill, where Black
what else
American
would you
people, I'm
expect
not
a
your love,
child to do?
sweethearts. I'm not your love. I'm telling you that when you came in, you insulted something that you don't even understand how you got the option or opportunity to do.
So then, racial issue or anything I don't identify, I just go back to my country and not even feel anything, right?
That's not what I said. See, you're missing my point because across the diaspora we're Black.
Listening to me though, at this point, you haven't heard my woes and what I've gone through, but yet at the same time, you know, again.
Listen. D, don't waste your time. He has his white friends on the comments. They came with him. Look at the tuna dude. They all came with it. Bro, you are totally, Tino, let me tell you, you're totally waste, man. You're a complete waste of a human, I'm telling you. You can't be called an African. You don't deserve that name. You're a total waste. I'm telling you. You're just a disgrace. Anyway, I don't take anyone from Zimbabwe serious anyway. And West African, we don't even take you serious. You have to deal with the economic slavery that the West have put your country into. You're so dumb. You're just so dumb. I don't think you need to be wasting your time arguing with this guy, bro. He doesn't sound African. He doesn't sound African. He doesn't behave like African. He doesn't think African. So he is worthless. Like I used to tell who look black. They say they are Native American. I say, listen, if you're Native American or you're African, all right, you can't be both. So if you are not talking African, then you are not African. So Tino, you can go to Chinese. We don't care, brother. You're not relevant in the African space. As right now, you represent Africa. You represent Africa in a very bad way. And we Africans, I can speak because, I have an African accent. You don't have any. We don't even know who you are anyway, because you sound African American. Then you saying you from Africa. You've been like you came from Africa. So who are we going to identify you with? Are you African American, or you came from Africa? So you don't even have an identity right now. You have identity crisis, brother. Now, so I'm talking to you.
I'll be honest.
Don't represent Africa. Don't represent Africa. You're giving us a very bad name on this panel. There are 188 people speaking, and you're sounding as the dumbest African that I've ever heard. Please do not speak again. I'm telling you. If you speak again, I'm going to roast you. I'm going to roast you, brother. Because I know you came from a family. You came from a family where your parents stole money, all right? And they stolen money. Well, one of the money, a part of the money they send you to the U.S., all right? That's how your parents got to the U.S. because your grandfather was a vice president. Vice president with stolen money.
Brother.
Look at your white friends on the comments. They come to.
At least talk to me with some respect, or
as what? As you can't see me because you have an eyeglasses on?
I don't get what. Anyways, disregard that. What is your point? I
said stop representing Africa. That's what I'm telling you.
Point in the argument?
Don't speak to you. Never been here. You don't even understand. Okay. You don't even speak any African language.
No, I do not.
Stop. Then why are you representing Africa on this panel? Just shut up. You know nothing about Africa. You don't sound You don't sound like me. All
I
right.
don't. I do not.
Then why
Because
you
I
want? Why are you talking about Africa? Then why you trying to represent Africa here? So
brother,
just keep quiet.
listen.
Cash,
Why?
cash. You need everybody
Keep
need
quiet.
cash.
Why? So I
Everybody
am a
needs
waste of human life
education.
because of the facts that
Hold
I
on,
just
You are
spoke?
hold
waste.
on,
You total waste.
hold
Wow.
on.
Thank you for
Cash,
triggering someone that actually has been seeing a therapist about this. So that just
Tino,
really
hold
made
on a
my life
second,
better.
Tino. Hold on a second, Tino. Hold on. Everybody need education, right? Brother Legend have this platform to educate black
True.
male, like especially black and our
That was
brothers
an
and sisters,
education.
right?
That
Hold
was
on a
hate.
second,
That was an
Tino.
education.
Hold on a
Tino, you see
second.
this thing you're
You
doing?
So
You do
hold up,
this.
you
hold up,
You do
doing
Tina,
this thing.
something.
If you do this thing in a bunch of Nigerian in real life, they're gonna smack you real
Tina,
hard. You sound so
Cash,
Tina,
dumb.
All right, so I'm going to
Tina,
cash.
be really
Shut your
Tina,
mouth.
quiet
Hold
and
on a
I'm going to
second, man.
drop.
Hold on a
So
second.
Tina,
You
I
can
hold
you
up,
am
can
not
drop.
going to
Tina,
be
Stop talking about
disrespectful
Africa. You can
Tina,
talk
because
about
Go ahead,
yourself.
John. We
have a good
see
night,
you.
Hold on a
y'all.
I'm John.
second,
We
man.
see you.
let me say something to you, Tina. The
Hold
problem
on a
with you,
second,
Tina,
hold on
is
a second.
Get the hell
Let me
out of
land
me.
real quick.
Yo, everybody,
Let me
wait,
just
hold on.
land
Thank you,
real
everybody.
quick.
Send Panthers.
Cash, hey,
Hey man, I never
Cash
seen
has
Africans
gone
roast
in.
each other. That was hilarious,
No,
yo.
dude is a
Yo,
clown.
Yeah,
He doesn't. Someone that
no,
doesn't live in
Cash
Africa.
has
He doesn't
gone
even
in.
speak any African
No,
language. He doesn't know anything about Africa. He's talking about
yo, I
people.
never in my life seen two Africans from the continent roast each other like that. That was crazy. I learned so much from that exchange. Like,
no,
how you gonna
Legend.
call a man a waste? That's crazy. Yo, that's crazy. That's crazy. The insults on Africa are like just on another level. Like y'all insults
Brother,
is on another level. It's hilarious.
the way he turned into a
so
YT man
right.
and told him that was hate.
he he showed his true Oreo, and yeah, I mean he showed the true Oreo in him when he started to say that was, somebody's trying to educate him on his stance, but he really has none. He doesn't have a stance for being black in America, and he doesn't have a stance for being a black African in America. He's coming from that
Oh
avenue
yeah.
He
Oh
don't have
yeah.
perspective,
he don't have a
from
stance
them
being
YT people
African
who trained
either.
him.
See,
Yeah,
Oh
no,
yeah.
that's what I'm
Oh yeah.
saying. He's
These are the
Ivy League.
people.
He's a
The,
YT person
this.
in
Oh yeah.
disguise. He got that brown complexion, but that white
Oh yeah.
mask.
These are the
A
people. These are
Decepticon.
the people we're talking about. These are the kind of people that compromise, that can easily sabotage and compromise,
Right.
that were the ones that compromise Africa in the first place. People who have this kind of
Yeah.
brain, all right?
Yeah, no, you ain't
These are
lying.
the type of people, these are the type of humans,
Yeah.
these are the type of Africans that they can easily came behind them and probably maybe do the atrocities through them, because nobody comes in a house and divide it or take it without an insider, right? So these are the people they use.
Yes.
You know, back in the days, most of these people, they take them, right. They are being government trained. They take them to the West, they train them, and they bring them back. When the colonizers came, they pick some few people, all right. They take them to Portugal, and they train them to send them to the schools, brainwash them, and bring them back to Africa. Now they can speak the language, they can interpret. So they were the interpreters, right? So they use them to do a lot of atrocities. These are the kind of people we're talking about.
he
Actually,
was
and
a
as a matter
he
of
was a
fact, what
ref,
you
he,
oh,
no he
oh
was a red flag when he says his father or his somebody was a vice president, right? That for a true African like us, me and Cash, they're telling us that you guys are the corruptions of Africa, right? That's you are
Exactly.
the product of that. You come to you
Probably
coming to the
money
West
from
because
public
your
money.
parents.
They use the surname to
Yeah, they
America.
embezzle.
That's public money.
Exactly. They have embezzled the country money. They have embezzled. They have hands in corruptions of Africa issues. You're proud of that because there's no way you're going into Ivy League school. If you if you're one of us, you know what I'm saying. Some of us still paying for school loan. So you going to Ivy League, you gotta have a deep pocket if you go into Ivy League. How the hell,
He showed
Yeah,
your
he
right,
parents
right.
showed
got
it.
that
Can
He
type of
showed what he
bread,
was.
can I say something real quick?
So
This is just us,
yeah,
just
go ahead,
cause,
go
just
ahead.
real. Okay, thank you. So I just got on. um, like maybe 10 minutes ago, and I saw the red, black, and green. I was like, oh, my people. So I stopped here from scrolling, and I heard the young, I don't want to call him a brother because he is not our brother, just because he has our skin tone. He's not our brother. As soon as he brought up that he did not understand the flag, that was it for me. And then he said that he's educated. I was done at that point. There was no need to try to teach that dummy anything. We were wasting our time because he came up here just to prove to his white colleagues how he can be trusted amongst them. This was only to show face for the white folks that he's in bed with. And whenever you have I'm an educated woman. One thing I love, I mean, there's many things I love my mother about, but the one thing she told me, she said, don't be an educated fool. Go to school, get your education, but make sure that you bring the education right back to the community that it can help the people that need it the most that look like you. So I went into midwifery care and also psychology. But I'm a I do midwifery work, and so I go into my community and I make sure that Black babies come into this world safe and sound. That's what I bring. No matter if I go to Africa, uh, Europe, no matter where I go, I can help people that look like me. That Negro don't have any inclination to do anything for his community. He's about pulling himself up from the bootstrap, and those are the people that are um, they are a detriment to our community. And I believe in Nat Turner. I follow like, hey, some of these folks don't need to be with us. And then the other point is to answer your question about is it racist to only dating your race? It's absolutely necessary that we date within our own race, because if we don't, I mean, it's just only a respectful thing, but we will be a dying breed if we stop marrying and reproducing. But right now, we're not reproducing solid people. We are not reproducing babies and children, and we are so dysfunctional. And so, as a midwife, we got to get back, and an educator, we have to get back to having children with purpose, having children and families with a purpose. We're just out here going crazy. And that's another topic that needs to be talked about. And then I like just quickly one last thing. I broke bread several times with Brother Khalid Muhammad. I don't know if any of you guys know who he is, but that was my
What?
that
I'm
was my
starstruck.
heart.
I'm sorry, but go ahead,
Yeah, I
sister.
like yeah. So Dr. Khalid was
Of
my
course we do. Of course we do. Of course we do.
yeah. So we had like he was a close friend of mine's. And so whenever he
Wait,
came to
we talking about the
Minnesota,
Khalid Muhammad, Khalid Abdul Muhammad, the truth gangster.
yes, absolutely. Yes, I broke bread with him on several occasions.
Woo, that's
He's
crazy.
a very, very, very good brother. And so like this is, and I, because I was so close to him, I really think, so I'm in Minnesota. My nephew was murdered by the police in 2020. Najee Adonis Powell. You guys can look him up. And I think, and I don't want to say that because my association with Dr. Khalid Muhammad, but I also think, like, we already know that that brother he didn't die of an aneurysm. They killed him. They murdered him. Like I said, there's so much stuff that's going on, you guys. We don't have time to be debating with these dummies that trying to come up here and take us off our square and our purpose. We need to be having conversations about how do we move forward, because we're in war right now. We are literally in war. They are using Black men and Black women to, one, go at war with each other. We can't afford to do that right now. And I can honestly say that I have played a part in it. You know what I'm saying? Using my emotions at how I feel. Like, I feel bad where the Black man is right now. There's so many Black men that just like, they're hard on us. They're hard on Black women. And they've even used me to a degree to bring the Black man down. And I had to wake myself up real quick, like, no, this is actually war. They're pitting our emotions against each other. So we need to start having conversations, black men and black women, how we can get us well, how we can get us to the point where we actually love each other and we can protect each other, because we're not there right now, and we cannot afford to be where we're sitting ducks. That's it. I love y'all. Thank y'all for doing what y'all doing.
Love you
That's
too. Thank you.
That was
Coming
very
up,
well
sister.
said.
Mad
Sis, I
love
just
to
want to
you.
say one thing.
yeah.
When you get on a panel, don't say say unalive, because
Oh
Oh
yes,
but
yeah,
you
yes,
were
right,
yes.
speaking. I
right.
didn't want to like cut you
Oh
off.
yeah,
Yeah, but
thank
just
you.
be
Yeah,
careful with your words.
yeah, yeah,
But that
yes.
that
Okay, so and I do want to say that just another thing. When they unalived my nephew, they tried to say it was a suicide. I'm sorry. I'm still upset. I'm still very emotional about that. So, but the sad thing about it is that my community did not come out. We had a couple people from Black Lives Matter, but the real folks that I thought would be rocking
hmm
with me did not come out. And I'm like, where's the brothers at? They should be boots on the ground right now. They should be boots on the ground. And it just like that kind of like that put me in so much despair, because I was like, where's the brother Khalid Muhammad's at? Where are y'all at?
right.
You know, it makes me sad that was he the last one? You know what I'm saying? Did they kill off the last of that spirit? So that's it. Thank y'all.
Thank you for coming up, sister. And I'm sorry to hear that. You know, that's the tales of
I'm so sorry.
Babylon. That is wild. And I might be almost unfortunately in agreement that he might have been the last one, to be honest. Because, I mean, I'm up here doing the best I can on this platform, but I ain't no Khalid Muhammad. Look up Dr. Khalid Muhammad so you can learn you something. Dr. Khalid Muhammad is the realest of the real. He didn't give a damn how you felt. He just said the truth. He said the black ass truth. That's what he did. So, you know, wow, that's crazy. I went to school, well, I went to a college that Khalid Muhammad had spoke at. Khalid Muhammad is the only US citizen to ever get censured by the Senate and the House. US Congress censured this man. The US government like officially condemned this man. And the school where he gave the speech that was so condemned was a school that I attended, but I did not know who the hell he was at that point. It wasn't until much later in my journey of Pan Africanism and learning more about my culture that I ran into him. But that meant that brother. Listen, if y'all want to hear the truth, unfiltered, to Khalid Abdul Muhammad. And what's funny about him too is, I try to keep this a religious. I try to keep religion out of our conversations. He was part of the Nation of Islam, and Malcolm X pointed out how the Nation of Islam is also, was also problematic. Certain things about them, but he's also part of the reason that Farrakhan got his position. If you know about the tapes, they would put out tapes where they would speak the truth on tape, and people started listening to it like mixtapes. But Khalid Muhammad was also condemned by the nation at one point. So isn't that's the weird thing about the Nation of Islam for me, is that how are you? I don't know. The Nation of Islam claims to be for black people, but they also clip the members that are too pro-black. Like, how that's weird, right? Like, how are you a pro-black movement, but every time somebody's too pro-black, like Malcolm X, like Khalid Muhammad, like you kind of like cut them out the movement, you know? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Oh, she said she left when he. Yeah, because that's kind of hypocritical, right? Like, the Nation of Islam is like, it's cool, but also another thing, why is all their leaders light skinned? Fard Muhammad, Elijah Muhammad, Louis Farrakhan, even Malcolm X was like, he wasn't a leader, but Like, why are their leaders all light skinned? Like, and then, you know what I'm saying? That's kind of weird too. But then every time somebody really is going to be that knowledge gangster like Khalid Muhammad, you cut him off. Like, you cut off Malcolm X because he said he didn't care about Kennedy's unaliving. And then you cut off Khalid Muhammad because he spoke truth to the ethno-religious group. I'm not going to say their name. You know, the people that, the star people, you know what I'm saying? The six-pointed star people. He spoke truth about them. And they didn't like that truth. So they, cut him out of the movement. And then the U.S. government censored him. It was kind of weird. But also, the reason that the nation said that they did it was because he said black men should make money because we're living in an oppressive system. Black men should make money by whatever means necessary. And in Islam, they teach you that you're not supposed to commit crime. So he got in trouble for that, supposedly, where he kind of told black men, like, it's a religious thing. So, like, I don't know. To me, the Nation of Islam becomes contradictory when they start enforcing their religion. But I don't want to go too far into it. Y'all need to look up Khalid Muhammad. I appreciate y'all for getting me over 100K likes. Thank you very much. I'm going to come back up tomorrow. Thank you to that sister for sharing that. And yeah, we'll be back. We'll be back tomorrow. Check out my YouTube, link in my bio, the button's in my bio. Also, the nonprofit is in my bio. I don't come up here just for entertainment. I'm building a nonprofit that's going to connect people across the diaspora and teach them their history. B1initiative.org. It's a Discord as well, so if you want to go in there and talk more, learn more, we got sources, we got books, we got videos, we got Khalid Muhammad in there. If you want to learn about Khalid Muhammad, we got his speeches in there. But yeah, feel free to join us. B1initiative.org. The link is in my bio. If you're non-black, we got an anti-racist space for you, and you can learn anti-racism and take that back to your community. You know what I'm saying, and unpack racism and all that stuff. But if you want to learn more about your African culture, your roots, Pan-Africanism, being pro-black, loving black people, you want to learn more, B1initiative.org. Check out the Discord. Much love to everybody. I'm going to be up tomorrow, man. Peace.